Let's get set up here. Hi guys, Mary, everybody's MicheleMarieDalene, and yeah, it is Monday morning, and I found an interesting little thing about the Raspberry Pi. It's was doing a lot of network jabber. I don't know what the story was, but for right now, I checked everything on the Raspberry Pi to see if there was anything why it would be network jabber, and I don't see anything that stands out as inconfigured. It's just some reason the also some rogue is trying to break into the PBX server. So for the fact is that we don't want to have it slow the number down right now. We just went ahead and turned off the Raspberry Pi for the time being, and now I'll turn back on later on. So if you're trying to call into the server in your legitimate account, just beware it will be offline while we're live, so we can make sure we can give you the maximum best bit rate we can give you. It clearly is an indicative situation of where we need to invest in better data plan. Unfortunately, I've got the best plan that Frontier has. And, of course, we did talk about the T-Mobile internet, so that certainly is an option as well. T-Mobile internet will allow us to stream up to unlimited. At least that's what they say. I don't know. Just kind of weird. But yes, sometimes Homeless Mike does watch videos on my computer or on his phone, which is on our network, but that's nowhere near the fire hosing that would be affecting the uploading. It's more of a download issue than an upload. Right now he's sleeping, so it's not exactly an issue. But, all right, so let's get started. Number one, for many people, they're going to be receiving the stimulus check on the 17th. Okay. Unfortunately, as I explained to Homeless Mike, the problem he has is that they did not re-enable the non-filers tool for the IRS. So if he wants his money, he's going to have to file a tax return, it looks like, even though he doesn't make any money. He needs that money. He needs that stimulus check so he can buy some clothes and maybe arrange to get housing. And so I could try calling the IRS directly, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. What I do, because I'm not that big of a deal. But I mean, so if we have to file a tax return, we'll file my tax return. We'll just have to do it online. Even if it's just like saying he earned $1. Actually, he earns a little more than $1, but not by much. Okay. He has no checking account. He has no savings accounts. He has no IRAs. He has no mutual funds. He has no bonds, no securities, nothing. And I don't even know how we're going to get him his stimulus check tool. He should be able to get a stimulus check all the way from the first one, which would be nice if I can get him that. I was going to help him do that stuff last stimulus, but when the non-filers tool was in existence, and he got cold feet and changed his mind, and he didn't do it. And so now the non-filers tool doesn't exist at all. So he can't just go ahead on the non-filers tool. Now he has to file an actual tax return, that looks like, to get his stimulations Yeah, not exactly what I call exciting. So I'll be honest when I tell you this, I'm really kind of a little bit disappointed. But that's not because I'm not disappointed at him or anything. I'm disappointed at the system that, you know, the people that really need the help are the ones that are not really necessarily getting the help, which is the homeless people. A lot of the fact of the matter is you understand the government doesn't really want to touch the homeless. They're like the lepers of American society. They're not, they don't want to deal with the homeless population. They don't want to talk to the homeless population. They don't want anything to do with the homeless population. Which kind of sucks because it's like, okay, if you don't want to deal with the population, if you don't want to reach out to the population, if you don't want to give the money to those people that may need it. After all, it's kind of hard to panhandle when there's no one coming knocking around because they're so concerned about their own situation and throw money into your tin cup. Come on, guys. The homeless people need the money too. But they don't pay taxes. They don't make enough money. What? You think a person panhandling is going to go out there, for example, and make enough money to buy a nice sirloin steak? I don't think so. Okay. Okay, let's put my microphone in. I don't think so. These people, he really needs that $1,400 IRS. If you're not going to open up the non-filers portal tool, then how is he supposed to get the help he needs? Okay, I gotta fix my. Okay, come on. I gotta fix this cord. So, like I said, he can't get the money because he doesn't have any money to file a tax return. After all, you're asking a homeless guy to file a tax return. I mean, he can file a tax return, yeah. But he doesn't have any income, so why would he normally file a tax return? That's kind of assuming something, you know. So, I mean, we got 3 viewers in right now, but 4. One like. Yeah. But I'm not getting any good mornings or anything yet. All right, so let me explain one other thing. As far as another glitch that has been coming was a bit of annoyance. And as much as we all love the alert box, we all love the kitty throwing the little hearts out, what happened was something at Stream Labs. And I wasn't just on this account. I checked it on my other account. It was doing the same thing. It was like it was rehashing old entries. I don't know if Streamlabs needs to fix the routine or script or whatever it is on their side, but it was really, really annoying. Okay. So we took it out for now, but eventually I would like to put it back in because I do like the stream. I do like the notifications, but having it replay notifications repeatedly that for phantom notifications that already happened in the past really isn't going to help me or you. Okay. So how can you tell who the real donations are? You can't. So We turned it off for now, but we hope to get it working soon. And the thing is, the next question that came up is, and Lemmy got mad at me for this, and we were talking about getting the laptop, and of course my mind was thinking about it. Obviously, was saying, what if the screen's too small? Well, I'm like, and when she said, stop, Virgo, stop making such a Virgo problem. You know damn well the screen's too small. It's only a 13-inch. So yeah, okay. So you blow it up. Yeah, you blow it up. Yeah, let's show. Just like I can on this one, right? Yeah. Oh, my neck is going to hit me. Let me give you an idea how close I read the screen. For those of you who never know how close I have to read this text. Now, this text is pretty good size. All right. So let me show you exactly what happens here. All right. So this is actually the screen. And I'm actually looking at some actual text on the bottom here, which is pretty small. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about here. When I say small. Sorry, it's a little blurry. That's about the size of what you're talking about. All cameras, Acrobat ReadMe, Uverse, The Sims 4. So, and this is a bit bigger than the font that we would be reading on that. The system, so I could see. So so when I look at here on the screen, now I know that Apple has a zoom feature to zoom the screen bigger. I am well aware of that. So I can use the screen magnifier to make the screen bigger. Absolutely. I used to use that when I first started out with X Windows on Linux. To zoom the screen bigger. So it's not like undoable. It's just kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying. I don't know. But part of me says I want this computer because I want a bigger screen. I want a portable computer so I can go do things anywhere. Great. That's nice. My chiropractor's going to love me. You threw your back again. Ow. Yeah, okay, let me straighten you out. That'll cost you about $120 for the visit. Okay. Crack. Ah! Michelle looks like a freaking C prompt when she's like, yeah. Pretty much. Here's my legs. Here's my eyes. Here's the screen. So it looks like C prompt. You see on Windows or on my MS-DOS. Here's the C. Here's the laptop. At least it's not going the other way where the screen is going back with the laptop mostly half closed. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah, I'm still interested. So, a lot of people are going to be receiving their money on the 17th. But I really wish the IRS would have done everybody a big favor. And that is this. Yo, Internal Revenue Service. Could you be a dear? Reopen the non-filers tool. So people can go ahead who are homeless can file for the stimulus check. They're American citizens that have a social security number, that have birth certificates. Probably more than likely they have them with them, or at least they have the social security anyway. And they need their money too. It would make sense that those people should be entitled to to the stimulus because they are, in essence, working. And they're, oh yes they are, oh yes they are. They're the undocumented working poor. They're Americans, most of them, but they just don't file W-2 or W-4. Okay, but they still are basically making a living trying to pay bills, and they need to be able to file for benefits too. Please consider that, IRS. Come on. Or at least over some to community access agencies or CAA, offer a way that they can work with somebody, say like the local community access agency, to help them get their stimulus check. Mr. Biden, if you're so concerned about the poor, then please consider the homeless poor, because they need help too. All right? I mean, a homeless Mike needs clothes, okay? He needs new footwear. He needs, ideally, eventually to find a place to live. I'm not asking for an impossible mission, IRS, but reopen the non-file list portal so people can go ahead and file who don't file a tax return. Come on. If you want them to do it in person, tell them who they're supposed to go to, which agency. Do I send homeless Mike to H&R Block? What forms does he need to fill out? You're still worried about fraud? Well, try this on for size. If people who are really in need don't get the help that they need, then Joe Biden's and all the Democrats' plan has basically failed. All right, that's a fact. If you can't help those who really need help, then your objective of helping the low-income people to prevent poverty has failed. Don't forget, a lot of them are also parents, and they have children. Okay, but they don't file taxes because they don't make enough in handouts to file taxes. Which means, again, you have failed them, which is something that almost every single Democrat I know of has said, we have to do the war on poverty. I mean, President Johnson did the same thing. Okay, the problem is when he tried to create the war on poverty back in 1964. The one problem is the states themselves at the time were fighting the same battle, and just basically took it over to the federal level with food stamps, and other programs that the entitlement programs, Social Security disability, Social Security, supplemental disability. That's great, but right now the problem is that the one group of people, the underserved group of people, are homeless that don't file taxes. And without the non-filers to open, you're preventing them from getting a chance to file their taxes or earn their stimulus that most of them should be entitled to have. How you doing, Blazing Leo? Right now, you're the only one that's actually chatting at this minute. I don't know where everybody else is. Unfortunately, we found a slight glitch with the PBX that maybe on a faster network it probably would not have been such a showstopper, but on my network it was a showstopper because the thing was doing a lot of jabbering. Basically, it's like running of the mouth. I don't know who I was trying to contact it, but there was somebody or something that was trying to get my PBX's attention repeatedly. And this morning I was checking the data rate and it was like for our In other words, there was somebody trying to log into my system, and my system, of course, recognized they weren't valid subscribers, so they didn't let them in. So our system kept rejecting them, but then they kept trying to go in again and again and again and again. They were trying to package snap different ports. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to seriously lock down every single port. We are locked down a lot of ports. So why would I know? Yeah. But what do you think about what I was trying to get at, though? The main topic of the fact is that the IRS did not open up the non-filers tool so that they people like homeless people who have a social security number and do have an address could actually put in their application to receive their stimulus check. I think that's kind of sad. I think that's kind of unfair, and I think it's kind of hurtful. Most likely, I will be getting my stimulus around the 17th, but um, not the non-filers. No, the IRS did not open the non-filers portal. They open the information so you can check on the status so I'm going to get my payment tool, but that's not the non-filers portal. Okay. I mean, I really I can look to see if you know what. Let me just check this out myself real quick here. All right, so let's go to the irs.gov. www.irs.gov. Okay, non-filers tool. Non-filers tool. Okay. Okay. Economic impact topic non-filers tool. All right, here's what it says about this. All right, so how do I file my 2019 tax return if I use the non-filers enter payment information? Can I still register for an economic filer if the non-filers enter payment info here tool is no longer available? Yeah, that's what I want to see the answer. That's what it says. The non-filers tool closed on November 21st. The IRS will continue to process mailed-in returns and issue payments through the end of 2020. If you missed the deadline for the tool, or the IRS is unable to process your return and issue an economic impact payment, you may be eligible to claim a recover rebate credit on your 20. This is older news than the IRS.gov. This is not even the most current tool. What is important to know, it says that the non-filers tool closed on the 21st of November of 2020, which is after the first stimulus check. Yeah, it was after the first one. So now, the question is, economic and payment process low-income people and others who aren't required to file return and register with the IRS non-filers tool. That's an old message. All right. So let's see. Anything for 2021? Okay. Non-filers will have until March 21st. So the problem is what Mike's going to have to do. It looks like I said earlier, He's going to have to file a tax return. It's going to suck. I can help him do the paperwork, but good morning. Be back for real after coffee. They don't have a 1040EZ form anymore. They don't have any of the 1040 forms anymore. They use a whole new system now. The 1040EZ form has not been provided for since the early 2010s. They phased out the 1040EZ form. They don't even have the 1040 forms either. They use a whole new form now. Our homeless should get it. I don't know how illegals are getting it, but our homeless people that have Social Security numbers should have it in their hot little hands because they need it. Especially since Joe Biden say he's so worried about the poor and disenfranchised. If you're so worried about the poor and disenfranchised, Mr. President, help us by telling the poor, unemployed, homeless, where do they go to get their emergency income payment, impact payment? Where do they go to get the emergency impact payment? Do they go to the local community access agency? Do they go to H&R Block? Do they go to TurboTax? Do they go to J.W. Hewitt? Who do they go to? What forms do they fill? Come on, give us at least something I could tell him. Right. Well, that's what I would have to do, or we could do it right now. The problem is even if he got a TurboTax card, it's not going to help him in the immediate time because he won't get his stimulus until later. Maybe I can contact the local H&R Block office, which is down the street from me, and ask them, how does a homeless person receive the EIP payments? How you doing, Scott? Andrew, how you doing today? Yeah, there is some. Yes, I did see that. But like he said, don't I have to have a copy of my birth certificate and my Social Security card? I said, yeah, you're probably going to need a copy of that. And maybe a copy of a place of residence or something. You see, the problem is the residence part. If my landlord does not want Mike living here. So I'm not sure how we're supposed to work that out. Because if my landlord wasn't such a grump, I could basically put him, because we don't even have a lease here. And there's no entitlement programs that are involved in any kind of money. That would have been just a pretty doggone simple thing. Just say Mike basically gets his mail here, and then he would have been all set. Right. But he has a Social Security number. He was born and raised in this country. So yeah, I'll have to figure this out. So anyway, for those of you who are wondering if you're trying to pick up your free PBX extension, you wonder why it's not working, it's because I had to temporarily turn it off during the live stream because some reason my system is jabbering. I'm not sure why. Yeah, he can do that too. but he doesn't have the money to pay for the P.O. box rental. Okay? See, this is it. He needs money to get the money so he can get a P.O. box. He don't have the money. So how is he supposed to get a P.O. box when he can't afford to pay for a P.O. box because he doesn't have the money? Well, that's not the only thing he's going to need. The problem is that's not a physical address. I think they want to know his living address, his residential address. So this is where I'm going to need to find a way to contact the local community access agency or CAA and find out what can we do to help him. He deserves this money. He needs the money. Right. Yeah, just got me. Just got other people, but he knows me in particular. He trusts me enough that he realizes I wouldn't try to steal his debit card payment. Right, exactly. Exactly. And this not kind of go against everything that Joe Biden wanted in this stimulus. He was worried about childhood poverty, which certainly is a valid concern. But doesn't he also realize that a lot of children that are in poverty are also the children of homeless parents that are also in poverty? How in the hell does that work? You think about it. It's sure in some cases it makes sense if it's a single mother and she's paying for a rent for an apartment that she could barely afford. But what if she's a single mother with her kids living in her car? That does happen. Or in a shelter. I've seen that over and over again, where mothers and sometimes fathers, whole families will live in a homeless shelter because there's no way they can afford to get enough money together to get an apartment. Now, that's the reason Joe Biden's so worried about the poor. What about them, Mr. Biden? What about them, Congress? If you don't include them in the stimulus check, you're basically closing the door to a lot of valid people that really need valid help. Right. He's got to stop smoking those damn cigarettes before he kills himself. This guy, he smokes like a friggin' chimney. Now you know where his money goes. It all goes into cigarettes every time. I don't even see how he finds any enjoyment in smoking. I don't even see why he would want to do it. Ew. Yes, I can do that for him with my address. That's true. But we still got to get the paperwork. We still need a copy of his social security card. So he has to go down to the social security and get that. So he has a paper copy of his card if he doesn't already have it. And then do I need to give him a birth certificate too? Because he's right now, that's in Bristol. I don't know how we're going to get Bristol to get his birth certificate. If we need a birth certificate to prove that he's born in this country. Right, exactly. How is he supposed to get a social security card when the social security card? I thought they reopened the offices. Oh my God. How is he supposed to get anything done then? He just doesn't have a copy of his birth certificate. I think he said he has a social security card. Let me ask him. Mike, do you have a social security card?
Not a card. I know I have a number, but I don't have a card.
You don't have the card?
No.
So we're going to have to go down to Social Security to get that. But unfortunately, we don't even know if they're open anymore taking applications.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I've already been through the processes when I had
What you could do is call Social Security up and ask them 1-800-772-1213 and ask them how you can get a new Social Security card.
I already know that I need to get information. I need to go to like stations and shit like that and try to find a way.
Let me go to it. Government screws any way they want. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got to replace my Social Security card because mine basically got so torn up. I basically had to get a new one. And then they told me, well, we had to go into the office to pick it up, which was fine. But now the question is that what if the Social Security's office is closed? And he's still going to have to call either 1-800-772-1213 and try to request a card and find out what the procedure is, which is what he has to do anyway. So if he can do it over the phone, then he'd be all fine. So that's what he would have to do. How did COVID impact his income expenses? Let's put it this way. How did it impact his income and expenses? Do you think people have been giving as much money for panhandling? Think about it. I know that sounds stupid, but the truth is, the way that the program is written right now is it did impact his life. People are not making as many donations to him in the form of panhandling. So he needs to make some money back to what he makes up for what he lost. Yeah. But he needs clothing and he needs the resources so he can dress well, so he can go ahead and try to make a good impression and potentially get a full-time job. He has to be able to look good for an employer when he goes to interviews. He looks like garbage. He can't do anything about it because he doesn't have the clothes. He needs the clothes. I don't know where we can get him the clothes easy enough. It's just... he also needs money for security deposit for an apartment. How is he going to get that? Same problem. Well, I'm being honest with you. But then again, listen to Joe Biden, the way he talks about it. Okay, we need to make sure that we give all this additional monthly payment to deal with poverty or childhood poverty. Okay. He's going, some ways the Democrats want to give the money to everybody. The problem is at the same time, the real people that need the help, according to the Democrats' agenda, are not getting the real help that they need, which is the homeless and the down and outs. They're the ones that are born and raised in this country, may they be military veterans or whatever, that they can't get the money. And then they're wondering why those people are basically sitting on the street eating leftover garbage. And the reason's simple, because unfortunately they're not getting the help that they need. Either A, because the community access agencies in their areas are basically unable to fulfill even the basic needs, which is very common, or people don't have, or they've lost the paperwork that they used to have, like their social security and their birth certificates. How in the heck are you supposed to go ahead and file for benefits if you don't have a social security or a birth certificate? I posted a link to the FTC page. Okay, so ftc.gov. Okay, so here's I'll see if I can open this without blowing up my computer here. Yeah, Federal Trade Commission. Okay, let's take a look at this real quick here. Getting stimulus payments to homeless communities. Oh, let me pull this up on the screen. Let's look at this together, and we'll try to get the Bubba on the screen too. Edit. All right. Let's see. The Federal Trade Commission. All right, so let's look at this together, and also at the same time, let's get Bubba on the screen. Ooh, groovy. All right, yes. All right, so I just gotta accept it. Let's go to this. Admit. Turn my captions at the same time.
Good morning.
How you doing? All right, so let me take a quick
look.
How you doing? All right, so, let me take a quick look. How you doing? Bubba, you're looping. Okay, how you doing now?
That's better. Thank you.
All right, so let's see what this says here real quick here. It says here, people are homeless or transient may not know that they qualify for the $1,200 income payments. They're called the stimulus checks that went out last spring. They might also get additional $500 for each qualifying child. This is older information, but let's take a look and see what it says here. This is data in September 2020. That's why the Federal Trade Commission is working with the IRS to get the word out. So let's scroll up here. Okay, don't need the income to file a claim of payment. That's why the FTC is getting the word out with the IRS to get the word out about people can still collect their money, and we need you. If you know anybody who doesn't have a permanent address or someone who's just isn't aware that they may qualify for payment, here is what you need to know. The deadline to enter a claim for payment is $100 check. Okay. To sign up, people need their name plus a mailing address and an email address. Oh, I can give them an email address easy enough. That's not a problem. People can ask a friend, family member, to use their address, a date of birth, and a valid social security number, bank account information, if any, personal identity protection PIN if they have gotten one from the IRS, name, social security, and relationship for each qualifying child. Okay, so if any, so does that mean that the question is the if any part? I mean, if he doesn't have a state ID, I mean, he has a. So, people who get veterans, railroad benefits, social security income will still qualify for the payment. Okay. Okay, so it's a little out of date, but yeah, okay, that's good news. But the problem is that it doesn't help because unfortunately, the non-filer's tool is offline and it's not online, so you can't use the non-filer's tool. This is just warped. How you doing, Lolly?
I'm doing great. How are you doing this morning, Michelle?
I'm doing all right. I was just trying to figure out something for homeless Mike, and I can't figure out we're going to work one thing out for him to get him
Yeah.
his stimulus check. He should be eligible for his $1,400, but unfortunately, they never reopened the non-filers tool.
Well, they didn't reopen that tool on the IRS Gov site?
Right,
No?
the non-filers tool is not open.
Can he just file a 1040A or EZ? And
I don't even know if they even use those old numbers anyway, a 1040A. Sure, I'm sure he could file the equivalent of a 1040A. I can help him file a 1040A. Or we could
that would
even go to
probably be the
H&R
simplest thing.
Block.
Yeah, the simplest thing to do, whichever is the simplest 1040, file that for him with just a zero income to get his in. If he has a social number, I would try that. That would be the simplest
He
thing.
does, but they was told that he should put down an income of $1.
Yes, perhaps $1, because you can't really put zero, is my understanding. So the $1 would be the perhaps best thing to do.
Right. And
that would get his social in the system. And from what I do understand, Michelle, that is the best thing. Gets his number in the system, and that would qualify him to get, same as the non-filer tool.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to call H&R Block and see what they recommend, just to be sure. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, call them.
I got another question I mentioned you real quickly on the messenger. You mentioned about a billboard. It was funny because the billboard was really Paul's idea. My idea would like to done is reopen up the old Wendy's. That would what I would like to see open again.
Oh, okay. Well,
that used to be it's kind of off camera, but if you look a little further back, you probably could barely see it, but there was a small little I can almost see it. There's a small little building that was right next to Cumberland Farm. That was where the old Wendy's was.
Well, do you want it to open as a Wendy's, or what do you want to open the building for?
I'd like to open up as a restaurant.
Oh.
I'd like
do you want to run the restaurant, or who's going to run the restaurant if we can get it
I would
open?
probably be running the restaurant, because that was something I always wanted to do, was run a restaurant.
Wow.
Originally, I wanted to run an Italian restaurant, but unfortunately, Winston's so full of Italian restaurants, we don't need any more Italian restaurants.
Have you ever run a restaurant before, Michelle?
I worked in a restaurant, but not as a manager, but more just kitchen help.
Well, that's an interesting concept. I hadn't really thought about that. That would be kind of cool. Well, there are a lot of restaurants there. What city is it that you're in there?
There is a lot of restaurants, mostly pizza restaurants.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Well,
pizza restaurants and bars. Not as many, bars anymore, but there's definitely a lot of pizza restaurants.
What's the population of the city there?
Well, 4,000.
Oh, it's a small city, huh?
Oh. It's a large town, yeah.
Yeah. What about like a diner or a little grill or something? Would that work there, you think?
We do have a little diner. One that just reopened where it used to be Louis Diner, opened up. There's another family diner there now. And then there's McGrain's. And then there's the Winston Diner on the next to the YMCA.
Mm-hmm. What about like a little breakfast place where, morning and lunch, breakfast and lunch place?
Well, that would be Lori's. Lori's, unfortunately, she closed. It was a sole proprietorship. She closed. I don't know what the story with that is.
Well, that might be a good thing to open then. If she closed and there's not one around there.
The only thing is, though, is with COVID-19, though. Yeah, the COVID-19 is the problem.
Yeah, there's a problem with that. Well, are they letting the restaurants there be open full time now?
Well, I know ABC Pizza is open for eating, dining. But the problem right now with Lori's diner is the fact that she has no parking. Right now, she was sharing the parking lot with the old Wendy's.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, this COVID is throwing a clink into everything. You got to kind of consider that in your business plan to see if it's going to be working out whatever you want to do with the building.
Yeah. Well, I also mentioned too, I'd like to be able to go to the UK. Only thing is, I don't like you. I don't have the kind of money to go out there and travel around the world like a jet setter. So if I go to the UK, it'll be on a transatlantic on a transatlantic ship. I wouldn't be flying because that's how I damaged my ears in the first place. They had a cold at the time.
Uh-huh. Huh. Well, you had explored going to the UK, and you found out what? Do you have to live there a certain number of months to get you have to get a visa and everything to do that, or what?
All right, well, let's start with the simplest thing. Originally, pre-Brexit and post-Brexit, the way they have originally and now in the post-Brexit is this. As an American, I can stay in the UK, but I cannot get a work visa for 6 months.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I can still receive my Social Security check here from the United States during those 6 months. But then I have to return back to the United States at the end of 6 months, which means I'd have to keep my apartment here and pay rent here, and I still have to pay the landlord there to stay there with my Social Security check from here.
Yeah, that gets a little like double rent for a while, right?
Double rent for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Well, once you get, say if you were able to do that, once you then move to the UK, will you have enough funds with your Social Security to live there?
That's a great question. The answer is no. Right now, I don't have the kind of money that they recommend having an account. They recommend having about £4,000 to £6,000 minimum. I mean,
per month or per year?
Because you wouldn't be immediately eligible to get the WPA money until you've been there long enough to establish residency, and then once you establish residency, which means you have to apply for a full-time visa and a work visa.
Yeah.
So,
well, would you be able to get a work visa and then get work for wages there, or how does that work?
I would have to, first of all, because I would be going in if they still have the intemporal and entrepreneur. I can never say that word right. Basically, since I wanted to work in the UK, I would have to get on a visa for working in the UK.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't have any family there, so I can't use a familial visa. I'm not marrying anybody there, so I can't go on a marriage visa. So the only choice would be is to go on as a person that wants to live and work in the UK visa.
Uh-huh.
But right now, the biggest problem is that they are getting drowned in migrants, just as America is.
Yeah.
From Calais. And so they've been cracking down on the illegals that are coming across their borders.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow. I'm gonna have to think on that. Yeah. Oh. You're a very interesting person, Miss MicheleDalene.
Yeah.
I like you. I do.
No, thanks, Brian. I'm not interested in going to South Africa. It's hot, the bugs are mean, and the monsoons will drain you out, and it gets... Oh, yeah. Did I forget the wild animals that will gladly kill you? Speaking of what I saw about the UK, Andrew, in your picture you showed me where you were outside of this building complex, and it looked like it had a huge field. Where is that picture shot from in your video this morning? It looked like you were outside of this place that was like an apartment complex, or maybe even a hotel you were talking about. But there was like nobody for like all around the property. It was like, where is this place? I could see that the young trees that were planted in the ground that were next to you were being held up by supports, and I was just curious what that was. Let's see. How are you doing, Andrew Scott? Holding up. So, Andrew Scott, where's that picture from? Like from this morning's vlog? It was kind of windy out. I couldn't hear you tell that lady that well because it was kind of gusty. I'm always looking for opportunities. So she's not paying attention to me, and that's why. Why? Who's not? Me? Bubba, I'm reading your comments right now. But remember, the UK and the US are the closest allies. Oh, that was the COVID vaccination complex, but usually it's an airport and also a concert venue. Oh, okay. Seemed like it was pretty quiet over there in that picture. That was an area called Tekka. Okay, Tekka. What would that stand for? Technology, education, concert area? Technology, engineering, and concert area. Yeah, we've been allies since World War II. Actually, United States, since the time of World War II, we've been especially close allies. The Aberdeen Conference Arena. Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't maybe close, but how is the picture quiet? I mean, the area was quiet. Right, Kate. It was like no one really around there. My day was up was fine. As you saw in the vlog, I got some of the pantry. I mean, some of the kitchen cabinets cleared out. A lot of empty plastic yogurt containers. Originally, we saved them because we thought we were going to use them over again. And they did for some things, but then after a while, there was just so many containers, it was ridiculous. I give up. But what are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Am I missing something? Because, I mean, I don't see him even in the chat group. I see Lolly here, but I don't see Bubba, and I see him talking.
Bubba, yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Stopping and looking at things in the way I look for opportunities. And I don't see what he was saying is I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, all I see is me and you, and I saw Bubba in the
he
chat.
Should get a copy of his birth certificate and replace his social security card. If he never starts taking the steps. Right, I know that. I give you enough information. Yes, I know that. I heard that too. Sorry. I was just trying to get caught up here. Yeah, I could hear that in the microphone. It was a windy day. Because, like, you're. How come they don't make windscreens for microphones? I mean, I don't understand that.
That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Well, I thought for the outdoors they usually have a windscreen if you have a mic outdoors sometimes.
I've had people call people outdoors on cell phones and get blown in.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
You do good sound effects, Michelle.
No, I can't. I can see Bubba's point. He's giving in information. I understand that. Homeless Mike knows that too. But I don't think I can really do much for him right now. He's going to have to go ahead and get in contact with the local community access agency or CAA and see if they can get him some help.
As far as clothing for success, there are some places that have clothing for gentlemen and ladies where they can go in and pick up some clothing people have donated, that they can get for interviews and such things as that. Maybe we could call around and see if there's such an agency in your community.
We see the problem is he's 30 years old and he has no work history.
Yeah.
That's the first thing he's going to run into a problem with.
Yeah. To even get interviews and try to get a job. So he's never really had a job or anything like that.
Oh, that's why I want to help him out. Whereas right now he doesn't even have any clothes that would look good for an interview.
Yeah. Well, what kind of work does he want to do or try to get a job
question. He doesn't have any training.
Yeah.
He's good. I mean, he does a lot of common labor, but
right. Well, do they have any job training programs in your area where he could get in there and get working with
maybe the community college might have something.
Yeah, maybe we should look into that for him and get him signed up in there to where he can get a little, job training, which maybe let him learn what he might be able to do and get into the use of the program.
Right, Andrew, I agree with you. The way he has been volunteering, he's been helping me.
That's good.
I could give him a reference for me for helping him, for him helping me.
Sure. Yeah, that's good.
There's a USPS program to get homeless people PO boxes. There really is? Can you send me a link to that? That would be interesting. Get him a PO box. All right. USP. Okay, there's a link. All right. Can you also do me a favor and copy that up to the Discord group too, so we can have it there as well, so other people can know? Because sometimes you scroll off the chat screen. So if you could just copy that over to the Snow Queen North American Snow Queen crew or the moderation chat, then I can have it there also, so I can go back and look at it. Yes, you can volunteer the soup kitchen. The problem is right now the soup kitchen isn't even open for volunteers. They're running in a skeleton crew right now because they don't even have any positions opening. Usually they work what they call alternative incarceration, for like people who have to do community service. But he doesn't have to do community service for reason of parole or for probation. So I don't know how that's going to work, get him in that either. But I have to ask when the soup kitchen opens fully if we can ask George. George can ask him if he can help, because he's the head dining room steward who knows most of what's going on. In one way, if you volunteer during the pandemic, it makes it look better, even if the fact that he's determined to do it. Yeah. I feel like Mike should be called. They are kind of similar. In fact, they're both Tauruses. They're just different ages. Almost Mike is 30. Ed is about 63. Ed right now is trying to get housing in Tampa. Homeless Mike is just trying to get housing. Well, they're Taurus. Taurus doesn't always seem to be very motivated, which is kind of sad. It's just the nature of the Taurus. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Baba. And no, I'm not trying to ignore you. If you feel bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, if you would like to come on the Google Meets, join Lolly me, you can. I'll post the link in case you don't have it. Okay. What sign is Jennifer J? Libra. Jennifer J is a Libra. What sign are you, Brian K? Okay. So, Brian K, what's your sign? That's Mike. That's homeless Mike smoking too much of a cigarette at one time.
Oh no, I hear him coughing. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't do too good with cigarettes, but
bless his heart. Yeah.
I really wish. Okay, all right, he's a Leo. So Brian K's Leo. Yeah, I really wish Mike would just drop the bomb. Just forget the cigarettes. Start over, please. Your lungs will thank you.
You say he's only 30 years old. Yeah, you don't want to have all that smoking. It'd be terrible for him later.
He's 30 years old. And he's a friggin' chain smoker.
Oh my God.
Basically, he picks up bottles and cans and turns them in the recycling program.
Well, at least he's doing that instead of robbing off places for money. These are, picking up and making some money legally. That's a good person.
Yeah, he's doing things legally, but it's kind of hard right now.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah. Well, how late are you guys staying on in the morning here?
Brian K, he smokes both. He smokes regular cigarettes and pot. Yeah, he smokes both.
Yeah. Well,
right now he's smoking cigarettes. He's smoking cigarettes because I can tell because it's making my nostrils itch because I can't stand cigarettes. Ugh.
Yeah, I have asthma, so it bothers me.
So do I.
I don't judge people.
I just don't have it so bad that I can't breathe, but it's just like it just makes me ill when it's something to sit around on a cigarette smoke.
Well, is he the one that stays with you temporarily here, or you ought to ask him to smoke outside, Michelle?
What does that? What's that tablet for? Okay, Bubba's ready to join us now. Let me get him on here. Go ahead, Bubba. How you doing?
Good morning, Bubba.
Hi, am I talking?
It's cough drops.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm not quite awake yet. Still working on cup number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I'm out here somewhere in the cosmos.
Well, it looks like you got a lovely constellation there today.
Lots of plasma.
So Andrew, you're saying this is something to prevent asthma attacks? This is a medication to prevent asthma attacks? We have pills for that. I don't know what they're called. How you doing, MJ? Okay. I don't know. So anyway, so how are you doing today, Bubba?
I'm okay.
I know I wasn't
time
trying to
change has
ignore
really
you.
Hit me hard.
Yeah, I understand that.
Hard to get used to, isn't it, Bubba? Me as well.
It's you're not coming on at 10 o'clock, Michelle. You're coming on at 9 o'clock now. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it seems earlier, does it not?
Yeah, well, I mean that's true. It still messes up everybody's head. It certainly messes up the people in the UK when they're still, as far as I know, they're still on winter time. They haven't moved on to summertime yet.
Yeah, it hasn't changed yet, I don't think.
Yeah. But I will tell you this much is that I don't know. the PBX works, but like I said that the computer was the network or something was causing the network to be kind of jabbery. And it looks like somebody was trying to get in there that was trying to access a port that didn't exist.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Yeah. So I mean, because before I put the refired up DHID.dis, there was like no one really coming in, and the phone line wasn't in use. And then all of a sudden, this morning, I checked the computer, and it was like the light was blinking like crazy, like somebody was trying to, I don't know, maybe do packet sniffing or port
Yeah,
sniffing.
that's somebody sniffing around, sounds like to me.
You know, does anybody know one single person who likes the time change? I don't know one single person who likes the time change.
Me either, Bubba. Me either.
So why is it so hard to just do away with it? I don't understand.
Well,
we should have a nationwide referendum and just do away with it.
I had heard that the government was considering to do away with it. So I don't know what.
Yeah. They've got more important things to do, like raise their pay and stuff, you know.
But the problem is depending on which government people. Some of them are like, some ways it's just kind of like Tevier and Fiddler on the Roof. Tradition. Fuck that tradition. We don't need that tradition. Confuses the hell out of me and everybody else in the process. Yeah.
Oh, Lolly dropped out.
And then, of course, there was the issue also that we had to turn off the nice little notification things because those are going spazzy too. I don't know why, but they were like, you were just getting old replays of old chats that were donated, you know. So I don't know what was going on with that. And I don't think Streamlabs even really worked on their script to find out what the problem was. I don't know. So I just turned off the notification scripting now because who wants to keep hearing ding, 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 ding over and over again for old donations, you know? And just guess there are similar ones apparently, but Xanax was banned in the 1980s on the National Health Service by Thatcher. Okay. Bubba, can you even vote in the U.S.? Brian Case said, Bubba, can you even vote in the U.S.? That's simply a byproduct of living in a failed state like the U.S. I say this from experience. South Africa isn't much different from US these days. There is a part of Arizona that's actually on California time. Yeah. How you doing, James? Yeah, I know. This time zone shit is enough to give everybody a headache. Well, it's true that the Earth has an apogee and a perigee. Okay. It's not like the Earth goes consistently the same distance from the sun every completely the same distance for its full year rotation, but however, at the same time, if the Earth was an equal amount of distance between the Earth year round, our weather would be so boring. Really. Next thing you hear, Mama, tell me about the good old days. What do you mean the good old days? When you had snow, when the Earth was apogees and perigees, when you had daylight savings time. Oh, I don't think daylight saving time was a good old take, dear. It's just been something we've been stuck with. Yeah, my vote counted, but then again, you have no idea. Yeah. So let's see. Where are we? We have 10 viewers, 10 likes. That's good. I don't know. What do you think, Bubba?
About what?
About the idea of this, if the Earth was an equal distance around the sun during this whole 1 year travel, how would it change the weather of the Earth?
Very little, considering the Earth rotates on tilted axis.
It does kind of affect the Earth, though, because when it goes to apogee and perigee, it's an elliptical orbit. It's not a circular orbit. So if the Earth was always consistent distance, I mean, it would still be tilted on its axis. Yes.
Brian K is trying to cause trouble over there, telling us that our votes.
It's his opinion, but I don't totally disagree with it. Look what happened.
What happened?
Why did well, I don't want to get into too much because YouTube is hypersensitive about it, but why were we sending our votes to Germany?
We weren't.
To a CIA server.
Votes were
Germany.
counted in each local board of election. Why? What are you talking about? Why were we sending our votes to Germany? All the local votes were counted.
The voting machines.
All the votes were counted in the local boards of election everywhere in the United States. We weren't sending our votes to Germany. Where did you even get that idea?
Where did I get the information from was because the machinery was sending out to a firewall to a server under the Central Intelligence Agency in a German location.
I want you to send me a link to that.
Oh, I'm sure I can find it again. I'll just I'll figure out what the name of the voting company was again that ran it. Was it Transamerica, Transnational something?
Brian K., I was watching the vote more closely this year than any other year.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull up the article real quick here. Let me go into Google on the other page here. All right. So 2020. Okay. 2020 U.S. election votes go to Germany.
Oh, Brian K., just drop it.
Oh, it's just okay. Here we go.
Just drop it.
Fact check. Okay. U.S. election, Germany. Fact check. Okay. They're saying, well, who's doing the fact checking on this? Shared posts which say that the U.S. military radio offices. I don't know if that's true or not, but the server is not located at anybody else's office except those in the CIA location.
Sounds like more QAnon crap to me.
They can see your point, yeah, but I mean, there was something that was going on a local level, though, especially in Atlanta, that had nothing to do with that. But the thing is that something was going wrong in Philadelphia. Something was going crazy in Atlanta. And even Michelle and I talked about that on my show earlier. Was that there was something strange going on with some of the way the votes were coming out of suitcases in the back room. Actually, it was more of an issue of mail-in ballots that was creating the problem. That's all I'm going to say. I know you followed it closely. I followed it closely too. But being Connecticut is a blue state anyway, I don't think my vote really counted for crap. Although Donald Trump did actually have a strong Sherman's here, Biden high marks. I'll have to look this up later on. I'll look up another one for you. I'll see if I can find the link. But it doesn't really matter anyway. It's over. It's done. Okay. But I mean, the question is 2022, 2024. Is it going to be repeated the same old BS? I don't know. But the thing is I think that the Republicans are going to have to really seriously get on their ball and basically don't let the Democrats just basically steamroll all these plans and drive the United States into the ground. I don't know if they can defeat many of the bills, but especially once we run out of what they call the Reconciliation Act, we use them all our reconciliations. Then the Republicans are going to have to be part of the vote to pass legislation. I don't know how they're going to fix some of the things that are going on right now, but I think clearly that the Republicans or Democrats right now just try to throw everything in the kitchen sink into the stimulus bills, especially the new fourth bill that they're working on already. The fourth stimulus bill called, what is it calling? Making America Better bill or something. Seriously, guys, I don't know what they're up to, but it's so far.
It's the infrastructure bill. Which is badly needed.
Oh yes, I know that there's things that are badly needed. I agree, but the problem is they want to spend another $3 trillion. It's not just going to be a stimulus bill. Trust me, I'm being for infrastructure. I got a feeling it's going to be a lot of other things in there too. And if they decide to go for it based on the reconciliation again, I mean, because I've heard that they want to have many senators and representatives want now a monthly stimulus check, so they don't have to go through this baloney all over again. Which I think is a good idea. Why didn't they do it with this one? They should have done it with this one. And they should have made it just like, I think conservatively, I think $600 a month stimulus would have been fine for many people. And then, but why didn't they do that? Why did they, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem right.
I would think that the Republicans would want to tackle infrastructure. I mean, that was one of the things that Donald Trump was pushing for when he got elected.
Well, the problem is the Republicans also realize that the Democrats, as long as they want to stick poison pills in the bill, they're going to basically have to be very diligent to make sure that the actual infrastructure gets fixed and not a lot of special interest projects that have nothing to do with strictly with infrastructure. Monica said the stimulus means squat since we're paying back in our income tax hikes. Yes, obviously. Income tax is part of the New Deal and was supposed to be a temporary originally. Occam's razor would say that when they pulled those suitcases of votes out from under the table, that the fraud was on full showcase. Exactly. A bill we will be paying back for decades. Yes. The old bait and switch by the politicians. How's the little dog James? And just gets his, but life is life. If Mr. Biden didn't help, then he would be crucified. It's the same with either party. True. She's good, sure. She woke up at 4 a.m. this morning. Monica says, I agree with you that too, Baba. We had to have 5G because the existing infrastructure is worse than India. Okay, we're talking about telecommunications infrastructure. Stella W said, James, naughty baby. James, yes, she is. LOL. I was covered by cats throughout the night. Beds for kitties.
You should have been nice and warm.
James says, well, at least they stayed warm. Bubba said, why then would Republican secretaries of state go ahead and certify election results if they were fraudulent? That's a good question. But there was also, I wonder if they really had a clear understanding what was going on either. I don't know. This is that was a whole mess right there.
All
okay.
Right, if you
All
can't
right,
believe in this election, if you can't believe in this previous election, then we should stop having elections because this was the most open election in history.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Here's what I'm going to say. The results and counting the results.
Here's what I'm going to say. First of all, if anything that's good about this is the Democrats get a chance to show if they can really have done any better than Trump. Already, I'm seeing basically a dumpster fire starting because the fact is immigration control that they rolled back on. Now the Democrats don't know what to do because now they basically gave open borders to all the illegals that came into this country.
Brian K., I am so woke. You don't understand.
So their solution was, oh my God, it would be like just like will basically say, come on in, water's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll give you all your free benefits you need. Yeah. Unfortunately,
all right, I got to get out of here. I can't be around all these conspiracy theorists.
I don't want to start conspiracy.
Adjust your tinfoil hat, folks. You guys are just your guy lost. Oh my, sorry. Well, I got to go, Michelle. I can't take this anymore.
You don't like what you're hearing, huh? Sorry about that.
Well, no, they're lying. It's everything they're saying is a lie.
Well, let me say one thing that's the truth. We got 2 years to see how the Democrats do. If they don't do good, it's just going to make it easier for the Republicans to try to come back in and overtake the House. And probably the senators that are up for 2 more year terms. That's a fact. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say. I'm not against the tin hat people. I'm not for the tin hat people, but I'm just saying is looking at it from all the different angles. Some things just didn't make a lot of sense. But I do hope to God that America doesn't go out there and basically shoot themselves in the crotch with their Democratic policies, claiming that they want to have open borders. Just doesn't make any sense. All right. Yeah. Andrew Crystal is a sexy minx. It's all out of our control. It's all out of our control. So not to focus on it much and just know the best. Exactly, that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, our show succeeds at doing one thing, and that is it gives everybody an open opportunity to express their views, even if their views are not exactly what the views of this commentator, but that's okay. I mean, for YouTube, I'm not trying to instigate problems, YouTube. I just want to let YouTube know this, okay? But if you want to support free speech, that means that sometimes you have to look at the dissenting opinions. course, it's okay to have a difference of opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just afraid. What are you afraid of, Monica? I agree with Bubba on this big time. Okay. Okay. All great empires fail. One lowers. It's already starting to circle the trade. Think about it. We're already doing the equivalent of bread and circuses in this country. Sure, that is my Alpha Suzuki. Yeah, the American system is collapsing. I wouldn't say our power grid is as bad as India, but I think our country needs a lot of repairs. That's no lie. That's true. Too many things in this country have been allowed to deteriorate. Yeah. Time to think about a rebuilding strategy. Explain. And the first thing this country needs to do is we need to get this country into the 21st century. It's just the internet. But we've covered this before. I'm going to still cover it again. It also includes our power grid. It is time to rewire American homes for 240 volts at 60 cycles power, especially or even three-phase power, so that we will have fast chargers for our cars. But that only works of getting power from the power generating facilities to the people that need it. We still need to upgrade our power generating facilities as well. Okay. So if we don't increase our generating capacity, we're not going to be able to meet the electrical. Okay, Blazing Leo's here. I'll get her in here. Go ahead, Blazing Leo. How you doing?
Morning, Michelle. Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Bubba just kind of left because he wasn't interested in the topic. But like I was saying is so we need two things infrastructure wise. One, we need more generating capacity. Two, we need a better power transmission and distribution system. Okay. Which means that we need to also do three, rewire America for 240 volts power. All outlets. Not just some, not just a certain outlets or all outlets. So 15 amps, 240 volts in all rooms. Okay? To provide the additional current that we need for things like electric appliances, like electrical vehicles, especially.
And who would be responsible for that? Are you talking about like just upping the codes?
Upping the codes, yes, definitely for new construction, upgrading the codes to meet the capacity, but they also have to make sure we have the generating capability. Because if you're going to talk about the new infrastructure plan that they're talking about doing, they want to spend $3 trillion on the fourth bill, which is an infrastructure bill. I just hope to God that seriously that money is going to be used for that. Maybe giving people a chance to go back to work, even if it's to help rebuild infrastructure like our roads, bridges, which are seriously in need of repair, and our power distribution and telecommunication system, our gas and water services, our sewer services, railroads. We need more railroads. We need either more high-speed bus services, which of course is cheaper than rail, but high-speed buses, we need more high-speed buses. There's so many things that they need. And then, of course, they want to go ahead and give everybody proposal is to give everybody a monthly economic stimulus check. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is that people that need that money may not be the people that they're actually thinking about who's going to get that money. As I said earlier, the homeless are the ones that really need the help and a job. Okay.
Well, what do you think about the new thing they're coming out with, the air taxis? What are your thoughts on that?
Nothing wrong with that as long as our air traffic controllers can keep things, from getting too crazy.
Yeah. How do you think they're going to go about that?
I don't know. Maybe the same way we do with the roads somehow. I don't.
Well, what I'm saying though is that wouldn't they have to put in a lot of money for that in itself? I mean, because you would have to have some type of trafficking.
Oh yeah,
up there.
You would definitely have to have air traffic control. You're gonna. In fact, here's a funny story. They actually originally were thinking about using an air traffic control system originally for the highways, which was something that you might laugh when you think about that. The fact is, in the early days, back in the 30s, they were thinking that they would have the equivalent of air traffic control for the highways. That every time you wanted to take a certain road, you would have to go ahead and contact the road traffic control to get permission to go on that lane.
Oh, really?
But that, of course, never took off. But it still was an interesting thought. Angie said, I am 38 this year, mate, but I do not look at U.S. I do not look to. I'd like to go to the UK, Andrew. If you ever want to have an American come visit you for a few months.
I have a cousin that lives in England who's offered for me to come visit, and he says he's an hour away from Paris. So I'm thinking about doing it soon.
So he's across the channel then.
Yeah.
Okay. South America is relatively new democracy. Sorry to misspell. That's okay.
What'd you do yesterday, Michelle? Just clean your place, or?
Clean my place, watched the news, looked a little bit about answering some questions on how to do certain things with the PBX, which I had to temporarily shut off during the show because some reason is jabbering on some ports, which I don't even know what port it's jabbering on. I think I need to find out which ports are open and close them.
Right. I was completely lost without you live yesterday. I'm like,
I know.
God, I'm used to being at Michelle's.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so like I said, I kind of miss being on the show too. I thought about doing a quick video. I did a video, but I didn't really do a long live stream. I did play a little bit of World of Warcraft. Nobody really gave a damn on that channel. I was like, yeah, well, Michelle's playing World of Warcraft. Big deal.
My neighbor just got $7,000 stimulus check. Can breeders.
Where is that from? What they just got $7,000 stimulus check. Cambridge. What does that mean?
I'm assuming that means they've got a lot of kids.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's see. If you get $1,400 per person, so that would be $4,800 for 4.
Right.
So
And then you got also the child
Miracle
stimulus
Kids.
program, which is part of the earned income credit. Some parts of Johannesburg are beautiful, and they're doing this much better than us in the U.S. By the way, I heard that Finland right now, the COVID-19 right now in Finland.
Oh, in Finland, really?
Yeah. I don't know why, but that Finland was probably pretty much was doing okay. Guess something went wrong and it went pear-shaped real quick. 15 years apart, they were basically the only children. Finland too, close to Russia. Yeah, it's across the. It's across, I believe, the what is there? Ocean up there. Oh my God, you can't remember.
Have a good day,
The North,
Monica.
no, not the North Sea. Yeah, well, it's not the North Sea. It's the other one. It's the other body of water. It's the other side. Arctic Ocean. Yeah, I guess I think it would be Arctic Ocean. Oh, it's the Baltic. Okay, I should think of Baltic Avenue and Monopoly. The one you can rent a house or put a hotel on for $250 a month in Monopoly. um, my youngest is almost 14. The boy is almost 29. Okay. Right. Well, right now, so they're starting to kind of seriously wonder about locking down Finland right now. Honestly, here's the thing, guys. I don't know if the Finns are exactly been rushing to go out in their saunas right now. Was pretty long winter for them. But as Jimmy says, they said they would like to see Donald Trump encourage more Republicans to get the vaccination. I pointed out nicely to Jimmy, I said, it's not that I'm totally against the idea of vaxxing. It's just that the shots are still so new that I think that we need to get a larger sample of how it's going to work, especially with all the different strains of the virus going on. We don't know if it's going to treat all those virus strains.
Well, I doubt it. No, I doubt it will, because the flu's the same way. The flu vaccine you're getting is for the virus we had last year.
Right.
So and it's a new strain. All it does is fight off last year's strain.
So how does it help you, considering the fact that it was for last year's strain? And it seems like, okay, and if you take the same, because it mutates so daggone fast, you would think if you take the vaccine every year, that your body would be getting smart enough to figure out the commonality of how to cream this thing. But why doesn't it? So how come we never?
Well, from a medical point, from what I understand, is like, even though the strain has mutated, it still has the original strain in it, or strain or strand, however you want to say
trace of the original.
So what it does is, if you come in contact with that new strain, if you get the immunization to fight it off, it's going to either lessen the side effects or lessen the symptoms you get from the new strain, or it's going to help your body fight off the new strain, because you're not fighting, the full virus when it comes in contact with you.
Right.
So it's easier for your body to fight it off. Now, what I believe is if you have a weak immune system, then vaccinations are great. But if your immune system is great, you should let your body fight it off naturally.
Right. I'm sure I've had the flu a couple of times, and I usually don't get it for very long, and usually that's fine. Maybe the same is true with the COVID-19 too, because of the same reason that there are some people that have a very strong immune system that don't really develop the symptoms. They may get it for a little bit, they may be incubating it for a little bit, but then they don't get sick for very long at all.
Right. Yeah, I had to get the flu shot when I was working in the medical field, and I do think it helped with the symptoms, but I haven't had the flu shot since, and if I get the flu, it's only for a couple of days and my body just fights it off.
How long ago were you working in the medical community?
Oh, it's been about 10 years since I've been in it.
All right. So anyway, the point I'm trying to say is because the virus or the vaccines are so new, I think a lot of people are like waiting to see if this is going to really work the way that Joe Biden really wants to see them work. Okay, if it works, great. If it really seriously lowers the risk for people, that's great. But already, I mean, there's question about it. Some people may be having a bad reaction to it. So,
right. Well, do you think, because there's so many conspiracies out there about the COVID, because the actual coronavirus has been around for thousands of years.
yeah.
So, and the fact that is it Bill Gates who patented it? They say you can't patent a virus if it's made naturally. So, do you think that they messed around with it and they created this strain that's affecting people?
I think there may be some manipulation of the natural virus.
And that's what I think too. And so then you can look at the vaccine in two ways. They made it so quickly because if they did manipulate this virus that's affecting the world, then they probably have had the vaccination since they've done that, because if they created the virus,
exactly,
they probably had the antidote.
Right. So they probably already had the recipe sitting in there.
Right.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But without knowing exactly, without having confirmation, but we do know that the Wuhan laboratory that was messing around with this virus was doing research on it. It's kind of odd that this lab, which had violations of health and safety code, was working with such an infectious virus from the bats. And somehow it managed to get an infected human being and ended up becoming patient zero.
Right. Can you drop the Google Meet link for Andrew?
Oh, sure, absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, as what I always say to people, our government will never tell us the truth, whether it was man-made, whether it came from a bat or China or whatever. There's so much stuff out there that you'll never know the truth. But if you sit back and look at all the evidence, the fact that something is the antidote or the vaccine to fight it off came out so fast is such a red flag for me, especially when you've worked in the medical field.
Right.
And I got friends that work in pharmaceuticals, friends that work in Pfizer.
I mean these vaccines usually take about 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah, it takes a while.
How you doing, Andrew Scott?
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, so like I said, it's like they rushed it out there. It's like, I mean, I don't know. It just seems kind of weird.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you good.
So a lot of people are seriously just kind of wondering is like, even if you don't believe in the conspiracy side of things,
no,
you
guys,
got this vaccine that you fast track through the system. How well has it been fully tested? And what size was the population that they used for testing?
All I wanted to say was, do you remember the SARS outbreak in 2002?
Yes.
Now, think about it. This SARS outbreak was probably contained by the Chinese, and it was obviously engineered for this to be spread wider but less severe.
And remember
and this is
also
exactly
that the COVID-19 is called SARS-2.
Exactly.
Right.
So what does that tell you?
Which means
there's manipulation through it, definitely. And it's weird that it, like, you know, when the flu came out, they had the H1N1, when you had the flu shot, and then all of a sudden we were rushing around. They said, "Oh no, the flu shot's not going to cover this new strain," so people had to get double flu shots.
So right now there's an H1N1, there's an H5N1.
Yeah.
And of course, you got COVID-19, which is actually related to SARS-2. And then, of course, you've also got Ebola, and you got a few others that are out there to take your number. You know.
But one thing I would say, thank God it isn't SARS-1, because half of us wouldn't be here speaking right now. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems really odd to me that the more we progress in this world with the modern science of medicine and everything else, it just seems like there's a lot more formulation of things coming out. You know, why are we taking man-made medicine to fight off things our body should be already fighting off? You know what I mean?
Because
not only that, but what about the food that we're eating and the stuff that's actually weakening our immune system? I mean, just our everyday environment, the foods that we eat, the processed food, that strips away a lot of the nutritional value of the food.
But when you say processed food, Michelle, I mean, this has been going on since the 1950s.
Yeah.
So why are we not all dead since then?
I mean, just
why are we all not what? What'd you say? Why are we all not
dead?
Yeah.
Since then.
Well, you've noticed though, cancer goes up, and you know, children are born with more birth defects. I mean, it keeps going up and up and up, and then you see these people that have gone. Like, I went 1 year. After I had given birth to my child, I eliminated all processed food, and I lost like 70 pounds in 3 months just by taking away all processed foods.
Okay.
I mean, there's so much toxins in that stuff. I mean, if you look into it, it's horrible.
Yeah, I can quite believe that, actually. I can quite believe that.
But what also is true, though, is the fact is that with all the modern food growing techniques, how come it seems like Americans and people in general in the world are not doing as well nutritionally? And we got.
I honestly think it has to do with, because the majority of, like, I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but like with the United States, a lot of people struggle to make ends meet. So it's a lot easier to go buy a box of like treats for $1 for your kids than to actually go and buy fresh fruits and vegetables and this and that, because it's a lot more expensive.
Well said. Yep. I agree with that 100%.
And so you you go the equivalent of, like, in my case is like sometimes it's easier for me to go to Cumberland Farms, get a frozen pizza, throw it in the oven, 30 minutes, dinner's done. It's not really necessarily what I would always like to eat.
But does that really harm you, though? That's the way I would say it. Like, a lot of people say, "Oh, don't eat processed food. Don't do this. Don't do that." But listen, one day they'll say to you, "Red wine is good for you." Then they'll say red wine is bad for you. then they'll say,
Yeah.
Remember the
Back
egg
when.
thing too? Eggs were bad, and then all of a sudden, a couple years later, eggs are good for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't, and I think everybody's different too. Everybody's metabolism is different. Everybody's genetic makeup is different. Where my ex-husband could eat Mountain Dew and frozen pizza 3 times a day, not gain a single pound.
Right.
But if I did that, I would be as big as a house. It just all depends.
Sorry, Leo.
I think
it's true. It's true.
I think what's important to understand, Andrew, I'm sure you are probably, of course, being Virgos, are more concerned about what they put in their bodies. You probably know what I'm talking about. You probably look at the ingredients, a lot of the stuff you buy at the store and go, is this really so good? Whatever it is, look at all the artificial flavors, preservatives, colors.
At the end of the day, I'm a guy, so when I do shopping, I just throw anything in the basket and that's it. I don't give a damn what I'm eating. So
yeah, but I'm sure even so, you still like to at least go, well, why wouldn't I want to go ahead and buy, if I can buy fresh oranges or fresh apples for say 10 for like a pound, why wouldn't I want to go ahead and buy fresh oranges versus buying fruit pies?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Charlotte
saying?
made a good point there too. Everything in moderation. But,
Brian, you know what I meant.
But what is
Mountain Dew?
but what is everything in moderation?
People that work here use food banks. Yeah. But remember, where's the food banks getting their food from? Because they usually it's canned, or as we'd say in the UK, tinned food. And that's loaded, especially tinned meat, like Spam or some of the other meats.
Don't mention that word.
It's the fact this is very salty stuff, right?
Don't do it.
And I think when people say everything in moderation, I think that is up to the person to because you got people that have a gluten intolerance.
Yeah.
You got people that are allergic to certain types of food that
that's another good possibility for some people. Is could that their food allergies be causing some of the situations like the explosive weight gain and the bloating and the larger bellies, not just the calories, but maybe because their body's sensitive to certain things. The problem is people are too oblivious to realize that, so they keep eating that stuff.
Right.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, because I had acorn squash the other day, and I never had an issue with it. All of a sudden, my body can't digest it.
Right.
So, and that could just be because, it's a hormonal thing that my body's just saying no more, or I don't know. I think it just all depends on the person.
Well, they do say your body changes after several years and stuff like that. And one thing my gran told me, I don't know if it's true or she was just lying to me, but she would say your body changes every 7 years. So I thought, okay, fine. But I'm beginning to believe it. I'm beginning to believe it.
Well, like I have an 8-year-old daughter, right? And she just had her physical today. She's always been a big milk drinker. Now she's 8 years old and she's already going through puberty. I mean, like she's got body odor, the armpit hair, pubic hair, everything.
Okay.
Right.
8 years old. And the doctor even said that she's too tall for her age. So now they're worried about that she's grown too fast. Now, is this because of all the hormones in the milk that she had? I switched her off.
It's possible. I would say it's very possible because it is a growth hormone.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So, I mean, it's what they're pumping into the animals that are feeding us is a big, it's
right, because it's going to get into us too. Same thing with
but surely it hasn't changed that much in the last 20 years.
But yeah, I don't, but as our population gets bigger, they gotta produce more. So are they pumping more hormones into the cows to make them produce more?
Yes.
Because if you buy a non-hormone milk, it is 3 times the price.
Right.
Because it's, the supply and demand.
Yeah.
It's crazy. If I would have known what I knew when she was little, I would have never gave her any milk with hormones.
Of course not. Of course not. Yeah.
It's the same. It's true also with people who are sensitive to gluten. Some people never had a problem with gluten, but there's people who get really irritated stomachs because of gluten. And one of the things that sometimes happens is that they basically just explode. They just blow up like a balloon because the way that the body cannot handle gluten. But gluten used to be a regular thing in our food. So what changed? Then we also have something called glyphosate. We don't know anything what that is, but there's stuff that is being used that in the wheat industry that is reacting with our bodies that's not healthy.
Right.
And they're doing a lot of that. I don't know how it is over like in the UK, but like here, they do those experimental things to make the plants grow faster and produce more. They have the little signs up by the farms. And so this is treated by such and such something.
Leo, we just get told. It just happens, and then later on we're told this is what's happened to you because you've been given this, that, and the next thing.
Wasn't the GMOs illegal in EU when you guys were part of the EU? Wasn't it illegal in EU to use GMOs?
Yes, it is.
Is it still? Is that still the case now?
I would hope so. I don't know off the top of my head, but I would certainly hope so. I mean, look at that mad cow disease thing. I mean, people were getting this thing. They were literally getting mad cow disease, and they were dying. No, people were dying.
No, I'm sorry. I was laughing at something Brian said in the chat. I agree with him, though.
Called BSE.
Right.
And it was the equivalent to mad cow disease. It was the human equivalent. And it was scary. You were terrified to eat a hamburger.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember it.
Right.
And I remember one politician went online, not online, but on live TV to eat a hamburger just to make it look good, But it didn't change my mind, Because politicians are just politicians. They're liars, most of them anyway.
Yeah, they worry about themselves. They're not worried so much about you.
Well, they're the ones that can afford the grade A, non-hormone treated processed stuff. I mean, they can buy. And that's the other thing too. Is like the healthier you want to live, the more expensive it is.
Absolutely, that's a good point.
And that's the reason why it doesn't sell that well, because people right now can't afford to buy the healthy stuff, even if they want to.
Especially if you have multiple kids. You got 5 kids. You buy cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you do. When
and if you're in Social Security disability, you buy cheap too.
We had a joke that we'd fed one of our cats with the BSE fork, right? And if you got that fork at your table, you're getting mad cow disease. That was my brothers and my sisters, because that's the way we were back then. Because it was the 90s, people acted like that back then,
Right. Wait, what is BSE? What do you think?
It's mad cow disease. It was the equivalent of the mad cow disease.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
So if somebody got the blunted fork, they were told you're getting the BSE, and that's my brother. No.
Oh my god.
It's funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time when you're 14 years old and shitting yourself.
Right. Well, I find it funny now. Like even my dog, like she'll get table scraps. Even my cats. And there was a time where we would put meat down for them. They would turn their nose up to it.
Yeah.
Right. Honestly.
And animals are very, they've got a good sniffer and a good sense when it comes to things. So.
Oh, not my pets. They'll eat anything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, yeah, they would eat anything too. But there was this time period where they wouldn't touch the meat. So I don't know what we were eating that they wouldn't eat.
Well, clearly it was not BSE
Yeah, food deserts in America are nuts.
We're not used.
No, but I'm sure there was something in there that they're, you know how they know how like certain bugs are poisonous, and something in it they knew that it must have not been good.
But this is where I compare this COVID to this BSE thing, because people were terrified to even eat anything meat related in this country for about 10 years.
It's true about the food deserts, though. The food deserts in the United States are just terrible. I happen to live across the street from Cumberland Farms, which is where I do most of my grocery shopping. And guess what? They don't have a lot of healthy food there. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. Okay, at least they have some bananas and apples and things. It's just
forced us to become vegetarians.
If I became a vegetarian, I'd be a deaditarian. Because
I honestly wish I could just grow all my own stuff. I don't have the resources or anything like that to do it, but I would love to do that.
Well, the thing is, I live in a flat, so I don't have a choice.
Yeah, but you can get a plot. I don't know if you guys have.
The only problem is where my porch is. There's no sun. There's no sun in my porch.
No, I meant a plot. Like you can find a plot of land which you can buy, and it's not that expensive here anyway. Well, it didn't used to be. Probably is extortionate prices now.
I mean, maybe my landlord could have let me use the space over by the graveyard, but
I hope so.
It's a lot of rocks there. It's a lot of rocks over there, and I would have to get someone to help me with it to till it out so I can plant the crops. But then the neighborhood animals would probably grab them all.
Right? Yeah, because
the raccoons and the skunks,
with all the buildings and businesses that are going up, they're forcing the animals into areas that they're not usually in either.
Absolutely.
So
right. Well, Winston is a suburb anyway. It's not really a large. But yes, a lot of animals are coming out of the woods. We've got bears, we got wolves, we got coyotes, we got, of course, skunks, raccoons, cats, dogs, wild animals come in and out.
I remember those.
Yeah, I remember in Michigan that we had cougar sightings. This was about, I'm going to say like 15 years ago. And my grandmother owned 30 acres and she had woods. And my mom had seen the cougar. And we called DNR and they said, "Oh no, that wasn't a cougar." And then within 6 months they were saying, "Oh yeah, the cougars are coming down, from the north or wherever they come from because they're looking for food."
Right.
Yeah. So what happened?
The government always lies.
What do you do after that then?
We were just told if you seen one to get inside and call DNR, which is what does DNR stand? Department of Natural Resources.
Yeah.
Do not resuscitate, but in those cases, I would say yes. That's not gonna.
Right now, my area is bears. We have area of black and brown bears in Winston, Torrington right now that have been going crazy coming out here. Last winter was really bad because it wasn't cold enough to keep them hibernating. So they came out and they're ransacking and bird camps in Torrington looking for food. Winston, grabbing whatever they could get out of people's houses. There have been a couple of people who've had, unfortunately, been on the wrong side of the claws and from bear attacks because they're looking for a meal.
I understand that, right? But now I always got confused what you have to do when you met a certain bear. Now I was told if you met a black bear, you were meant to lie down or something like that. If you met a brown bear, yeah, that's right. But if you met a brown one, you just ran for your life.
Well, the most important thing that what they said is do not try to confront the bear. Do not try to do not shoot a firearm thinking that you're going to kill him with a bullet because more than likely you're not going to kill him. He's going to kill you because once you enrage him by hurting him, he's going to take you down.
Yep.
So
yeah, I haven't had face-to-face anything with a bear yet, but that's what I was
Thank
told
God.
to play dead. Because there'd be
Yeah,
no way you could
yeah, I
outrun
heard
them
that.
either.
No, you couldn't. You definitely couldn't, unless you and
they're
they
the
can climb
apex
up trees
predator in my
too.
area. The bears are the ones that will go after you, especially if they're really hungry. And if they find that your home is easy pickings, they're just like burglars. They'll come in, they'll ransack your house, they'll rip open your refrigerator, they'll eat whatever they can get their hands on or claws on. Which means right now, given the fact that the bears were not hibernating last year, that was exactly what they were doing.
Right.
Wait, what's Brian talk about? He says he hates always getting into the stupidest places and they just die and stink up the airbed. What did he?
I don't know. I think you just had a bad day. I don't know.
I think they're talking about animals that managed to crawl into the rodents and like the raccoons and squirrels and possums and other animals.
Yeah. Oh, possums are bad out here.
We don't have those here, thankfully, but
People keep them
mean-
as pets.
yeah. So here, are
Oh,
you one of them?
snakes. He's talking about
Leo?
snakes. Oh, yes.
I would love to have a pet skunk, to be honest with you. I think skunks are cute.
But they smell bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, they'd be like, you'd have to take away their scent gland, but
Here's
I
an
just-
interesting thing about skunks. They're legally
And you-
blind,
And
but they're
nowadays,
sharpshooters.
that would be considered animal cruelty. If
I
you
don't
were
get
to
it.
shoot
Right.
How can a
you know?
legally blind animal shoot something so successfully less than 6 feet away?
I just think it's because it has a wide range. Like as long as it just kind of
Right.
sees the vicinity of where it needs to go.
Yeah, the only problem is their spray is actually very blinding to your eyes, can cause permanent blindness.
They're talking about snakes
Oh, snakes
getting
definitely.
into vents and stuff.
Snakes are gonna go where it's warm.
We have snakes here, but I mean, there's only one that's poisonous, and it's the green adder or something like that. I don't know.
I'm not a snake person.
You don't get any venomous snakes in the UK, do you?
Yes, yeah, we have one. That's what I'm saying. The green snake, the adder, green adder, and it's pretty dangerous. But you
What
don't
do
see
you-
so many.
Oh yeah, the black mamba. Yeah, that I wouldn't want to
Do
be.
you besides for the snake, do you guys have anything that else is like a poisonous thing? I mean, do you have bad spiders or?
Unless they're transferred from other countries, no.
The most likely spider that they probably would have would be the black widow. Maybe a wood spider.
We eradicated rabies back in 1979 or 1984 or something like that, you know. But there was a case of a guy that was bitten by a bat in 2002, and he didn't think nothing of it. He died of rabies. You know,
oh wow!
Yeah.
So it can happen because, you know, there's no way. I personally don't think there's any way of eradicating anything from your country, despite it being an island. You know?
Right. Yeah, because we do too many imports, exporting between countries. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, because they were saying that there was a spider that's is it the brown recluse, Michelle? That we weren't really having.
Horrible spider.
We weren't having we didn't have it, and then all of a sudden we were starting to get more and more of them.
Yeah,
That's
well, it might be very look close.
That one.
Of course, you guys always had black widows around here, and then wood spiders. Yeah, there's a lot of insects moving in. Because
I can handle spiders, Michelle and Leo, right? I can handle them and chat. But what I can't handle are yellow jackets. I just can't handle. If I see
I don't like yellow jackets either, but they're part of the ecosystem. So I just respectfully try to keep a distance.
No, Michelle, I disagree with you there. They're not needed. They're not needed at all.
Are you allergic to them, Andrew, or no?
No, I just
you just don't like them.
There's something about them that really out. They're big and
well, like I said,
Oh my God.
I have a very simple policy when it comes to animals and insects, which is this. I leave you alone if you leave me alone.
That
if you don't leave me alone, you're going to have to deal with me.
Yeah, we had a big moth get in our house one time. It was dive bombing us, and it's just a moth.
Hurt you? Can they?
No, but they're scary when they're huge. You can actually see their mouths, and it's.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
And it was freaking dive bombing us.
Was it the killer wasp or something?
Yeah, the Japanese hornet. It's like a wasp.
Japanese killer hornet.
This thing is massive.
Yes, it is.
And apparently, its sting can dissolve your skin and stuff like that. And I'm like,
it gives you necrosis.
Yeah, literally.
It's a wasp. It's a killer wasp.
Yeah, Brian. It was scary. The cats were even running from this thing. It was that big. My mom was like, "Get it, get it," and the cats are like hiding under things. Like, we ain't getting that thing.
I don't know, Leo. I think my cat.
I think part of it again is because we keep messing up with the ecosystem. That's why we're getting all these crazy infestations.
Yep.
But these insects, apparently, some of them, the ones I mentioned, have been around for decades. So I don't know how long we've been messing up the ecosystem for. So
I just think it's every year. I mean, the more and more poison we put into our planet, the more and more it just messes things up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And more and more poison we put into our bodies messes us up.
Exactly. And it's, is it population control?
For example, a couple of years ago in Australia,
the FDA just trying to make things cheap.
A couple of years ago in Australia, I think they had to change just their toilet seat certifications because they couldn't support the extra large people anymore. And I was like, okay, I can relate to that. And they're saying is that the toilet seats were rated for like 100 kilos. And they're like, all of a sudden, the seats were breaking because you could be like 125, 130 kilo person.
Brian said, how could you get bit by something and toss it off as nothing? You can, because most of the things in this country are literally quite harmless. But the green adder, like Charlotte had mentioned, and I myself had mentioned, they are dangerous. They are dangerous.
How big do they get?
They're not very big at all. They're actually quite little.
Oh, okay.
So you can't see them. So if you're walking about the green grass,
So they might be like our version of like a garden snake then.
Absolutely.
But obviously garden snakes aren't poisonous, but
garden snakes are not poisonous.
Yeah. No. It's still the same thing.
But actually, they're still they're actually still, if I'm right, Andrew, isn't a garden snake still a type of a constricting snake? I mean, it's not really going to hurt a human being, unlike a python, but
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think it is.
I've never thankfully met one, so I
think when they eat a mouse and stuff, I think they kind of constrict it. I think you're right, Michelle.
Yeah. I always felt bad for the mice seeing in those National Geographic episodes. I saw one mouse with a poor little mouse squeak and he actually broke down in tears.
Oh, I know. I can't watch it. I know it's the circle of life.
Yeah.
Hey. Listen, they start crying.
That's what they're around for, to take care of the rodents. What this country did
was
that and the cats, right? That's what the cats do too. They're trying to keep.
They shot all the lynx. They shot all the wolves. They shot all the bears. And they made sure they were extinct in this country. And now the talk is bringing them back into the habitat. And
Brian lives in a big poisonous area.
Yeah, he lives in South Africa. That's where it all throws.
Oh, right. Well, that's different. I mean, they've got all sorts of.
South Africa is a country where both the natives and the wildlife are always trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Go in there. If you're blonde, go into South Africa. The witch doctors actually will hunt you down, thinking that you're going to give them the the elixir of immortality. I'm not kidding you. I'm like, what? Don't
now,
ever
is South
go.
Africa
Don't
the
ever go
country
to
that
South
has,
Africa if you're blonde. Okay.
is South
South-
Africa the country that has that tribe that it hasn't been touched by, like
I don't know.
modernization?
I
don't
hope
know.
so. I don't know. I don't know,
Like
Leo.
they throw their spears and stuff at, like, they take in drones, and I'm like, just leave them alone, man.
I mean, you're talking
They know something
spirits. God.
they don't want part of our world. They probably know, like, an inside thing there.
Yeah, I don't know. So, like I said, if the heats and the bugs don't get you, the other guys will. South
Absolutely
Africa.
will. That's for
It's just the
sure.
way it is. It's these their culture is very rough and tumble in South Africa.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. You look at the state of the place.
I don't know if Nigeria is any better, but the thing is I mean, the UK, from when I started running the field you were showing, it didn't seem that much different than most of the United States. You're trying to deal with the fact that the
In
grass
terms
is
of
brown.
animalistic nature, yes, we are. Thankfully.
Yeah.
We do have rattlesnakes. We do have mountain lions like rambling around the countryside. Thank God. They were all shot. That's what I'm saying. Back in the old Henry VIII days, these things are all shot and killed to extinction.
Yeah.
You know? So
Now, I'm
they were
wondering though,
gone.
I'm not familiar with South Africa and its, like, landscaping. Do they have a lot more terrain? Like in the U.S., obviously we have a lot of population, so we have buildings and businesses, and
They got
we
the
don't have a lot of
savannas.
forest.
They have large open savannas. The plains would be like going parts of like the Midwest, the large, if it was in farmland, but just visualize big, large, open tracts of land in the savannas where the animals roam freely.
Yeah, so that's flat and spread out.
And they're not even, like, a lot of places don't even have a lot of human population either. So
that cuts out when you win the lottery. You don't go to South Africa. That's out of the equation.
yeah,
Fuck that place.
right. It's pretty
Well,
flat and
Brian.
spread out.
I'm sure it's a nice place. In fact, one of my good friends is from South Africa, and
I'm sure it's beautiful.
He's never met anything like this. He's never met any of these animals or creatures. It's never occurred to him.
Right.
But because when I mention stuff like, oh my God, South Africa is full of like deadly animals and deadly spiders and wasps and bees and stuff like that. It's like, no, it's okay.
By the way, for a lot of people who don't know this, but in a lot of Africa in general, there's not a lot of internet providers out there. A lot of places depend on the local cell phone networks to provide internet for people's homes. In fact, some places don't even have electricity.
Oh, really?
Because there's so much distance between places that it would be very difficult to create a power grid.
Huh. See, yeah, I'm not really well schooled on different countries, but
same. Well,
Right.
on some I am, but not as far afield as that. That's for sure.
yeah, could you imagine? I don't know about you guys, but if I would love to visit.
You'd love a tarantula just jumping down your face.
Oh,
right now,
hell
just
no!
like-
I don't like spiders. I don't even like little spiders. There was one that was coming down off the ceiling in a grocery store, and I gave it such a wide berth. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, well, I always say basically, unless you basically going to bother me, I'll leave you alone. So I'm not
Yeah,
the
Again,
type of,
Michelle,
if they're
I
not in
can't.
my place, I'd try to leave them alone. But if they're in my
can't.
apartment or my house, they're dead.
Yeah, yeah, they totally are. They totally are. It's like 10 cans of Raid into that.
Right. I used to get
considering
my
that
hairspray and get
Rusty,
them.
since Rusty originally got bitten by a wood spider and he got that necrosis and sepsis and that kind of brings me a heads up, because we also got black widows in our area too.
Oh,
If
jeez.
he ever got bitten by black widow, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had a black widow recently, not too far from here. Again, imported from a crate. But that's what happens sometimes. But as soon as they
Yeah.
see it, it's like it's caught, but they don't kill it. They just take it away and just make sure it is what it is, and they'll put it back. Thankfully, I mean, at the end of the day, these things are living
Yeah.
creatures
Well, that's how a lot of the
themselves.
spiders and stuff come in, is that they come in through imports. It's not like same thing with cockroaches. They don't come in this because somebody wanted to bring them in here. They just come in and they sneak in with the packaging of the imports.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they would be terrifying to you. I mean, they're terrifying to me. Imagine poor Rusty got bitten by one of those instead of a wood spider. He wouldn't even have a chance.
And there's also the Australian redback, which is really dangerous as well.
The which ones?
Australian redback.
What is that?
It's like the black widow's sister.
Oh,
okay.
Not a nice thing to be.
Oh, it's a
bitten
spider.
by.
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
I want to visit Australia, but I'm so scared too because of all the poisonous things there.
That's understandable. I'm not interested.
And this coming from the lady that comes from a country that has rattlesnakes, so no.
Yeah. Well, in Michigan we have a snake. I'm sure it's in more areas, but it's called the puffer snake, and it looks like a cobra, but it's not poisonous.
Right.
It just scares the hell out of others.
Yes. My brothers were throwing it at each other. Like, what are you doing? I thought it was a cobra. I didn't know it was a puffer snake. I had no clue
That's
what
nothing,
that was.
but there's even cobras that don't even have the hood. They're actually spitting cobras. They spit venom.
And that's what brothers do as well, by the way, Michelle, what Lee was saying. They like to do stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, my older brother put half alive wasps into my bed, literally under my duvet. And can you imagine getting into your bed and just like lying down and feeling yourself like getting, what the hell is this?
Oh,
and
no.
you look up and you're like, oh my God! Which is exactly what happened. And of course, my mum got him and she battered him senseless. That's what they did.
Oh, that's pretty tame compared to what my brothers did. They used to throw fireballs at each other.
Well, we have rattlesnakes over here in Connecticut. We have the timber. We have the timber rattlesnake here in Connecticut.
A timber riddle.
Yeah,
I know it, Brian. It probably did, but I didn't expect it to happen to me. That's all I'm saying. You don't mess with people's psyches, especially when they know they're scared shitless of these cunts. Oh my God! Sorry, I said it again. Do something else, Michelle.
Yeah. Well, anyway, like I said, we have different kinds of snakes in Connecticut too. We do have the timber rattlesnake here in Connecticut, because Brian K was talking about the Texas rattlesnakes that the hemotoxin and that can destroy the skin of a leg and stuff. Yes, because that's what their poison is. The venom is a hemotoxin.
Right.
So.
So when you say a hemotoxin, I take you mean a blood poisoning.
Yeah, it's blood poisoning. That's exactly what the venom does.
Yeah.
And also we have snakes that have neurotoxins. nerve poisoning. I believe that there are some rattlesnakes that are actually using neurotoxin. I definitely know that copperhead uses a neurotoxin, which is not a rattlesnake.
What a bunch of evil bastard snakes are, eh?
I can't get down with snakes. I respect them enough to stay away from them, but I don't understand how people could have them as pets. I don't get it.
Yep. Even the same with bearded dragons. I don't know if you guys are aware of those being kept as pets.
Oh, the big lizards?
Yeah. And
yeah.
And people think these things are friendly or nice.
They love them.
They're just horrible. They're just horrible. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, the little lizards I can see because they'd be cute to watch, but I don't know. I just have never been a lizard or an amphibian. Well, I don't know. I like turtles. I had turtles for a pet, but
yeah, but they're safe. They're safe.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at we have an insurance company here called Geico, and they have their gecko.
Right.
And I got a chance to see what the real geckos look like, and these little small little things. They're really fast movers. They're like,
they're cute. They're cute. They are cute.
Yeah.
But
to look at, Leo.
Yeah, because I would think a pet you'd want to be able to hold, walk, pet. But I mean, some people do pet their lizards, so I don't know.
Oh God. And no,
like
once
Kate
you
says,
get
if you
the
ever
claws
come up to
into
one,
it
they
hurts.
won't bother you. And if you take, the pee out of them, they just know they can take you away. What? Which ones are you talking about here? Are the snakes? Okay.
I think he's talking
sea
about
snakes.
snakes. Yeah.
No, we have water moccasins. Do you?
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
Cotton
they're
mouse.
dangerous. They're very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen one, personally, but I've heard.
And people are like, let's go to the beach and swim out.
I never see one close up, but I've seen pictures of them. They're called cotton mouse because the mouth, when you open it, it's in some ways it's kind of similar to a black mamba, except it's black. It's white instead of black, but they both got fangs.
And they both hurt and both kill you.
And they're both venomous snakes. Black mamba is like the black widowmaker of Africa.
I'm moving to Iceland or something.
All right. I'm moving to Siberia, where everything dies.
Oh, don't go there. You get put into a gulag or something.
Yeah, but you still got to deal with the polar bears.
That's
apex predator up there.
Do they bother the people that, or do they? I don't know nothing about polar.
That depends if they can get access to the natural food supply. Because if they can't, yes, they will ransack a human settlement.
Yeah, you're not going to want to tangle with the polar bear.
Okay, so let's count out Siberia. Okay, that's like that. That's out the window. So Iceland is where it's at, or Greenland or something like that. But that's probably got a few things that we don't even know about. In fact, a lot of these places that we've never really explored have probably got many things that we don't even know exist.
Oh yeah. Well, they find new species of things all the time.
That's very true. Yeah.
They find things about new species of things everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how they keep up with all the new discoveries of which new insect or animal or plant they see, but they obviously manage to keep them cataloged.
Do you think, Michelle, that has something to do with like either that they haven't discovered them or that there's like crossbreeding that's happening? That we keep getting these new strains of.
Yeah, there definitely is. We got growlers and pizzlies, where grizzly bear and polar bears have actually cross-mated to each other.
But ever since when we've had this new thing about COVID and all these strains, now we're thinking about new strains of animals, new strains of insects. So maybe that's
Didn't
something
they
to do with
just-
it too.
Last year during the lockdown, a lot of animals came out of the countryside, came into the cities looking for food. You were seeing deer in New York City. You were seeing bears.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah. Now you're seeing like wild animals coming into and they're so brazen. They're so brazen. And I don't know if you guys know what that word is.
Right. Yeah, we do.
But they're brave. They're brave as heck, and they'll just come in, and there's just no fear about them at all now.
Well, yeah, it's the same with the human population. You're hungry. You got a family to feed or whatever.
Absolutely.
You're going to do what you need to do to eat.
Very true. Very true.
In fact, it got so bad in New York City without the human beings during the lockdown, the rats are actually eating rats.
Oh, wow.
Okay, if it's getting up by Michelle, just get me off the planet now. Just get that rocket ready, and I'm up there tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, rats eating rats.
Well, unfortunately, human beings have been around a long time living with animals, but the problem is that a lot of the animals become dependent on us, and especially in the cities.
Yeah.
And certainly the rats are certainly no exception to the rule, because the fact is the New York rats depend on human beings to provide those food that they need in the form of crumbs and things like that. But with the shortage of food, they're just going to go ahead and find the next source of nutrients, even if it's their brother.
Yeah. Well, you guys have seen like when the rats, what is that called? Where their tails all get stuck together. Do they call that?
I haven't seen that happen in real life.
They can't attack you, Leo. That's why. That's what it is. It's good rats because they can't attack you. If they're all tangled up, then fine.
Yeah, but it's an actual thing. I would never thought that rats would get their tails all tangled up like that, and it's actually really gross.
Yeah, it does seem quite disgusting. I've never seen it myself, thankfully. Brian K was just saying on the chat.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It is. It's gross.
Yeah, it's also kind of sad for the rats too.
Rats and Democrats.
Oh, Michelle, don't we so?
Like they were all trying to break a huddle, and then they realized they all tied themselves to each other.
Oh, it does, Brian.
Like they couldn't seem to coordinate.
It sounds like a bunch of bananas for a snake.
Oh, rat steak sounds so nice right now.
Yeah, it would be because I know New York. I'm from the Chicago. I grew up in the Chicago suburb area.
Right.
And obviously cities have, rats. My mom told me stories and stuff.
Right.
But you would think there would be something they could put in the cities to kind of help. Yeah, like an animal of some sort to go in there But
hey, if Chicago
they
can't
do.
handle it,
you know what they're using now in New York City to go after the rats? The wild cats that are out in the city. They're actually fixing the cats, giving them their shots, and they're basically feeding the cats. Cats are fed, and they let the cats just do their job.
Michelle, some of those rats.
It's more effective than rat poison.
Themselves.
Yeah. Some rats can get pretty big.
They're so large. I remember sitting.
Of course, the cats get pretty big. Look at the size of Rusty.
Yeah, Rusty's huge. I thought my cat was big.
I think Rusty could get this rats.
Well, is your cat a boy or a girl cat? Because Rusty's a boy cat.
My cat's a girl.
Okay, well, that's why she's not as big. But if she was a boy cat, she'd probably be just as big as he is. That's another thing that's coming on. What's happening now? A lot of cats are mixed of domesticated and feral cats. I think Rusty is a hybrid. I think he's a mix of domesticated and feral cat.
Okay, he's so tame though.
Brian, I would say.
Well, Rusty's tame.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He's very tame.
Yeah, he's a very calm cat, but he may actually be related to a bobcat.
Oh, I believe it. I believe that.
Yeah.
This is sort of cats we all need. We need all cats are related to wild cats. But when you get a domestic cat, they still act like wild cats. So you think to yourself, well, come on.
Yeah, they
So
got that
nice.
instinct.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Let's see. Brian K saying, "Did he really have alligators in the sewers?" How you doing, Baba? Oh, thank you for the $50. Thank you.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. Thank you very much.
Nice, Baba.
Sorry, you're not going to see the little kitty and the little hearts roll out, guys, because I got to find out why Streamlabs can't fix that.
Oh yeah, Michelle, you're not the only one having that issue. I've seen two other YouTubers having it.
I couldn't see either as well.
If I was the only one having that issue, I could bet Streamlabs would go, "Oh, you're the only one that has a problem, so why should we fix it?"
Right.
I'm sure enough people go, "Hey, why are we getting all these old notifications?" And then, that's a good question. How many is us? Oh, about 75% of your people using your notification tool. Oh well, then we gotta find out what's causing that.
But guys, I'm gonna head off and get some dinner because it's that time over here. And
all right, Brian.
I'm bursting for the toilet.
Check out the super chat now. It says to go towards getting homeless money stimulus check for him. Okay, thank you. I will.
Yeah, but guys, it was
all right,
pleasure.
Andrew.
Thank you.
Take
now
care.
the thing to do to get him down to is I could give that to him as cash for the bus fare so he can get to where he has to go. Yeah. I'm gonna have to see what I can do about that. So unfortunately, Andrew just left the chat.
Yep, he's gonna go get dinner.
Oh, okay. Yes, good. Yes, it's dinner time, isn't it? Yeah, it's about 5:34 their time. Right. Yep. Or is it 6:34 their time?
I don't know.
What is it? Is it 5:34 or 6:34?
Is Charlotte still in the chat? She'd be able to tell us. I think she'd be able to tell us.
Well, I could find out another way. All right, let me pull up Siri so you can find out. What time is it in London, England?
It's 4:36 p.m. in London, England.
He's in Scotland, though.
Oh, he's in Scotland?
Yeah, he's in Scotland.
Okay. Well, that's probably not that much different.
Yeah, it might be an hour, but I'm not sure.
Oh, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Thanks for the chat, guys. Andrew, you're welcome to always be in the chat with us. I'm really seriously want to try to get it so you and other people in the UK can call into the show. I'm already looking into, if you want a direct one-on-one telephone extension, call into the show through voice over IP, no charge to you, Andrew, or anybody else, which includes Lottie or even Lolly or even Charlotte W. Contact me on Discord, and I will create you a username, password that you just got to download the appropriate SIP client for your device, and you'll be able to call into the phone system, and then you'll have a direct 3-digit extension so that you can call right into the show without the middleman.
Where's Schmeckle and Skynet at this morning?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm surprised they weren't up here.
Well, maybe they overslept.
Maybe.
Well, let's see. Skynet sees he's offline minting coins. I don't see Schmiggelcut on here at all.
Yeah, I didn't see him all weekend.
Yeah.
In the Discord.
So I think he's probably around somewhere. So yeah, I mean, homeless Mike could easily get used to $50. I mean, he could easily use the $50 to go maybe take the commuter bus to Torrington. Wait a minute, I think the bus right now is for free, but the Social Security office isn't open. And the last time I had to get a replacement Social Security card, they told me I had to show up at the office to request a card because of identity concerns for identity fraud.
Are they not open even for appointments?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to check that information.
That's how ours is working. You can make an appointment.
Yeah. And he still has to go to Bristol to get his birth certificate. But yeah, I could give him the money for the bus fare for that. He could just arrange. Let me talk to Mike for a second. Mike.
What?
I got some information for you. Somebody donated $50 so that you can go get your birth certificate in Bristol.
I was born in Waterbury, but it still helps.
Waterbury, okay.
It still helps. There's nothing wrong with that.
So if you had the money with a bus fare, could you get there?
Yeah, would you like to help me do that, maybe?
Yeah, they donated $50 so you can go ahead and get your birth certificate.
Well, I have a friend that has a car, and I have another friend that can help me with a couple other things. Maybe we can get together.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have enough for bus fare for both people to ride the bus, but...
No, he has a car, he said.
You still would be able to go get...
need to use the bus. My friend has a car, and my other friend is my godfather at church.
Okay. Well, ask your friend how much he needs for gas, because you're going to need at least $25 for the birth certificate. So, if the $50 that was just given, figure $20 for gas, and then maybe $30 to cover the birth certificate printing and stuff. Because that will help you for a lot of reasons. Because then you can go down to Social Security and go get your get your Social Security card at the same time. All right, let me get back to the chat here. Yeah, that'll work. So he would be able to begin the process of getting stuff together, which he really needs to do.
Yeah. That would definitely help him.
Yeah, but remember the money that's put into Super Chats won't be coming here until at least the 21st, 22nd. So, which means the stimulus check will be here before that money is.
Right. Well, I mean, you could pop them the money, and then just when the Super Chats come in, you keep that part.
Right. I would just give it to him. Just give him like $60 out of my checking account when the stimulation comes, and then he would arrange for transportation. In other words, I'd give him all right $60, and then he wants me to go with him, which would be fine. I can go with him. To $20 for gas, and then I can go with him, and I can hold on to the money the whole time. Just give the guy the $20 for the gas if he's free to do it. And if he wants me to go with him, then it would just give him the cash for the other documentation.
Right.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I really would like to see him have a chance to finally turn his life around, for the better. YouTube takes 30% off the top. I've heard it could take as much as 50% off the top because of taxes. So, right. So that's the stimulation. That's the YouTube side, but the stimulation check is going to be $1,400 complete. So that won't be coming from me probably until the 17th. I know some people did receive it early, and I wasn't one of those people. I checked.
Me neither.
I checked this morning. I didn't have any stimulus check yet.
Nope, me neither. I was hoping for it, but I didn't have it either.
And of course, this morning I was having a bit of an anxiety attack, and Lemmy woke me up. She said, "What's your problem?" And I said, "What if the laptop is too small for me to read?" She says, "Stop being such a Virgo. If the laptop's too small for you to read, you're not gonna be doing too good with it anyway." Yeah, but I always wanted the damn laptop. But if a 13-inch you can't read, I don't even know how big a 13-inch laptop is. It's about the size of a piece of paper. I mean, theoretically, a MacBook is like...
Yeah. Now the screen itself, Michelle, will be small, but there will be a setting that you can increase the print size.
But it'd be about the same closeness as of 8.5 by 11 paper.
Right. But you can increase the print size.
Right.
Stuff,
yes,
so.
You can. Yes, you can.
So that even though it'll be on the smaller size, you should still be able to.
All right. But you know what? I just knocked my video off. Ow. You unplugged the cord from the hole. I noticed that. You unplugged your plug from the hole. Oh, I gotta get up there. Okay, I got it. I unplugged the camera. You moved your shit around and you unplugged the camera.
Michelle, what program do you use to work with your green screen?
I'm using OBS.
Oh, you're just going straight through OBS. Okay.
Yeah.
Because my friend was saying something about it, and I said, well, I think she just uses OBS, and he thought you used a different program.
Well, you can also do, how the Zoom has this, and so does YouTube, Google Meets. Google Meets also has, you can do a virtual green screen where you don't even have to, which is very hardware intensive, which means you don't need a green screen behind you. Just change the background. But the green screen itself is less resource hungry than that kind of setup, which we're making what they call virtual masks. Well, virtual masks work fine if it's going to be a single shot, but if you're going to be doing a whole live stream video at 1080p or 720p, it's better just use the green screen. Can you show them how that works, Michelle? I mean, can you? Yeah, I can show. How do I do that without messing up everything? Well, let's see. Well, right now we'll just explain the process, and then we'll leave it at that. Basically, another way to do it is to have the software kind of figure out where you are and where the background is. In other words, it figures out like there's a contrast between you and the background. So if you're wearing something like a constant color top, say like a blue top, and darker hair, for example, if it was, then what happens is the computer kind of tries to make an educated guess where you are in relation to the background, and then it tries to mask out the background. The problem is with live streams is every 30th of a second, the picture changes. So, meaning simply that it has to keep updating the mask every 30th of a second. That takes a lot of hit on the processor. The green screen, you're just basically looking for green as the color, and then wherever the green color is, you just replace it with the background image on the green channel.
Okay. That's all gibberish to me, but I'm sure if my friend's lurking, he might understand what you're saying.
Well, Bubba could explain the technology too, but I don't know if he'd be able to explain it much better than I could. So basically, the consumer grade green screen looks for a certain brightness / intensity and shade of color. So it's not just chrome. It's not just green. For example, neon green. Electromucus green versus forest green. Even though they're both green, because it combines both luma green, luminance and chrominance together to be very particular with which shade of green you're talking about to key out. But traditionally, true chroma key, it doesn't matter about the shade of green. It would just key out anything that's green. So if you were like this, I thought it was going to happen with this dress here because there's just the tiniest tiniest bit of little green in here, but most of the flowers are blue. You would think that they would key out on the flowers, but because they're blue, they won't key out on the flowers. But if I was wearing something that was green, it would key out the those flowers or things that were green.
Now, when you say key out, you're talking about like it would like disappear into the background.
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
I didn't know you could do it on other colors than just the green.
You can have any kind of chroma key. You can have red. You can have a blue screen.
I didn't know that.
It doesn't have to be any particular one color. Just green is just used because it's the farthest from human complexion. I mean, you could also key on my pink wall if you wanted to. Although you might find your face looks invisible.
That would actually be
like a
pretty
Cheshire
cool.
cat with two eyes that's floating in the midair. Great for special effects if that's what you want. You see how I got this white streak going right here in my head? See how my hair is going in?
Yeah.
That's growing white. That's white. And that's not balding, I don't think.
You should just get some brown eyeshadow and put it in there. It'll stop it from looking that color.
I can redarken it with the same color. Paul's here. How you doing, Paul? How's it going?
Yo, what's up?
Schmeckle?
What's up? Bubba Warbucks isn't in here.
No,
he was earlier, but he kind of got mad
in the
with
chat.
He kind of got mad about the conspiracy theorists and their tinfoil hats.
I have a question for Bubba Warbucks in the chat. One last time I'll ask you, full sobriety, Bubba Warbucks, if I can provide the YouTube link of Michelle's show where we have a verbal contract where you guarantee me you will give me your stimulus check. Will you be willing to honor that contract if I find the YouTube show? I just want to know before I waste a whole day of my life. Will you be willing to honor your contract, Bubba? Or are you just a talky Lou?
He said no.
Well, Bubba, go fuck yourself, faggot.
He welched on that bet.
He's not a man of his word. Let it be known, guys. He's a fucking renigger. Oh no, that doesn't sound good. No. I didn't mean that. He likes to renege on his word.
Yeah,
I did not mean to call him that. That was a mistake. I haven't had my coffee yet.
Schmeckle.
I haven't had my coffee yet.
He said it isn't a contract. Okay.
It is. It's a verbal contract. We have.
Look, he's got a new proposition for you. He said he'll give Michelle $250 if you will.
Fuck out of that. I need the $250. You guys are wasting your money trying to get Big Mike a goddamn birth certificate here. Y'all just threw that shit away. I need the money. I don't need Michelle to have the money. This bitch has got like $1,000 in donations the past month.
Well, let's put it this way. He just gave $50 so homeless Mike can go get his birth certificate.
He's heading straight to the gas station, Michelle, for some 40s and cigarettes. Come on, let's be real with each other. He ain't gonna make it to that birth certificate.
So Mike.
Michelle's gonna hold the money, she said.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, because Mike wants me to go with him.
I'm gonna go into the smoke
shop. So Mike wants to ask his friend if he can
give me the money.
It sounds like Mike's saying he wants to ask his friend if he can give us a ride to Waterbury to get his birth certificate.
You know what? I hope Mike gets his birth certificate, but I'm very disappointed in Bubba Warbucks. Thought he was a man of his word. Very disappointed in Michelle. I'm going to go load up the AR-15, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be fired it into the air this time. All right, Michelle.
Oh, no!
Chat. God bless. Love you guys. Take care.
Bye, Schmeckle.
All right. So anyway, the point is yes, I could help him with that if he wants me to go with him. That's not necessarily a problem. It wouldn't be a bad little trip. I was just gonna go to the birth, get his birth record information.
Now you can't do that by mail with him?
No, because of identity theft concerns. They don't want to do it by mail. You have to show up in person.
Oh, okay. Because I know they used to, when I had to get
Yeah,
mine,
I know they
just
used
sent me
to.
a form. Yeah.
There was a lot of things they used to do, but they don't do anymore.
Oh, well, that sucks because if I had to get mine, I'd have to go all the way to a different state.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons why I always make sure not to lose my birth certificate.
Yeah, I got extra copies.
I don't have extra copies, but I do got one that's scanned into the computer that counts as an extra copy, even though it does have the seal, but I don't know if you'd really call it an extra copy because it's a copy that was scanned into my flatbed scanner. So yeah, so I got a white streak in my head, and I can feel the fur there. It's all there. It's not like I'm losing any hair. Maybe you can't really tell that with the camera that well. Maybe you can tell me with a switch camera so you can see it better with the other camera because it's kind of hard to see this camera. Let's zoom in on it. Let's zoom in on it. Yeah.
I think you look fine, Michelle. I think you're worried over something that nobody cares.
What color is that hair anyway?
What color is your hair?
Where the part is there.
I mean, it looks brown. I mean, I see some gray, but I see mainly brown.
Well, in this part here.
Yeah, it's like a light. Yeah.
So it is going light.
Yeah, it looks lighter. Yeah. Well, that's how it works. I remember my mom when she was going gray.
Yeah.
You know, all in the main like exposed areas. You've seen it really well.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I was thinking about getting my hair retouched to white again. That was what I was going to do with the money. But then, like, everything kept getting changed in plans. Like, first it was going to, let's go ahead and get ourselves a mattress. Good. Oh, let's go get ourselves a laptop. Okay. How much is that going to cost me? Well, which laptop? That's when I have to start beating my head against the wall because it's like, which one? Originally, I wanted to get the 2010 because they were the least expensive. And then people saying, well, you should go for the 2015 because it's one of the last of the Macs that was serviceable and will give you the faster processor like an i5, i7. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Now, you don't have programs by you to help people get mattresses and stuff?
The Goodwill will do it, I think, but there's only one problem. You have to pick it up.
Oh,
and
really?
you have to throw out the old one. So if you
Bubba said,
if you don't have a truck or you don't know anybody who has a truck, you're not going to do any good. See, I don't have a car. See, like I told Mike, is I can legally drive. I can drive a horse and carriage in Connecticut because there's no license requirement. The problem is I don't have a horse and I don't have a carriage. So that ain't gonna do me any good unless I want to go to live over the Amish and Mennonites are, because at least there probably would be the resources I would need to get a carriage and get a horse. Right now, there isn't that much available out there for getting a horse or carriage in Connecticut.
Bubba said, check your PayPal.
Okay, I will check my PayPal. Right. Let's see. Someone said to Michelle to check her PayPal. Okay, I will. Okay, let's do that right now.
Wow, it's windy here.
Okay, so let's go to www.paypal.com. Okay. So hit login. I got 2 PayPal accounts. People don't realize this. The first PayPal account is the one that's associated with the channel. And the second one is the one that's associated, with my personal PayPal. So www.gmail.com. Okay. Log into that one. And I see good account overview. and click on it. I see we have current balance is $242.45. $242.45. Wow. Let's see. The latest donation was from Bubba. Okay. Thanks. I will. It's much appreciated.
Amazing, Bubba.
Thank you. That'll be good for me and homeless Mikey. This managed to get a ride. Maybe me, him, and his friend could go out to a nice dinner. Well, he gets his birth certificate at the same time. Maybe we can go to Cracker Barrel or something.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Well, I definitely am going to hold on to the money for the time being.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is just tell Mike is that if he can guarantee the ride, I have the money for him. Also, the YouTube, the PayPal people are sending me for my channel, because this is associated with my business. They're going to be sending me a business debit card for this bank account, by the end of March. So my PayPal, what's associated with my channel, is going to be getting a business debit card.
Nice.
So versus my personal PayPal, which originally had a business debit card, but I kind of let it lapse. Instead, I decided to go and just give myself a standard PayPal cash card instead. So, it was sent to Pink Rose. Yes, that's right. I got it. Thank you. Right. If there was another one, you would have been told about it. But that was when I got in the Pink Rose account. Thank you very much. No, I don't really want to give out the other one because, first of all, I don't even have a PayPal Me account associated to that one. It makes taxes a pain in the ass. Just do we have this is a channel related account, and then I have the one that's my personal. I just transfer money between the two accounts as I need to. So. Right. I don't get surcharges anyway because it's from friends. So basically, all I do is I just transfer the money I need from one to the other, and I just say it's for friends, and then they don't charge me a surcharge for it.
That's amazing, Bubba.
I was just following through what I said before. Yeah, well, we already know what Paul thinks about that idea. I need my own money. Well, it'll be good still, because I mean, like I said, so if when homeless Mike gets his guaranteed his ride with his friend, then all we have to do is just go down there together. Maybe we can go to Cracker Barrel. Maybe we can go to the Hometown Buffet or whatever in Waterbury. Maybe they have a steakhouse down there. That'd be nice.
Maybe.
What steakhouses still exist anymore? I mean, I don't even know besides Outback.
Outback, then there's
I mean, shit, I could almost take him to dinner over there at the Tributary, which doesn't sound half-assed bad if you really think about it. It says that's where me and Forever Consciousness went to dinner.
Do you have a Golden Corral?
I had a $25 freaking steak dinner. I didn't even. He said to me, "Money's no object." Okay. Don't ever say that unless you're ready to pay for it.
Well,
I only had the salad bar and everything. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind getting good. Yeah. So anyway, what I want to do is eventually I want to. So let's talk about real quick what they are planning. Because this is something I'm going to. We mentioned the third stimulus check. That's done. Okay. $1,400 is coming. Okay, that's the third stimulus. Now they're working on a fourth one, which includes infrastructure primarily. But they also want to add to that a monthly stimulus check for Social Security recipients, so $200 a month, which I don't think is a bad idea. As far as also wanting to give monthly stimulus checks for everybody else. Here's my first question. Joe, why didn't you do that from the very beginning this time? Why would this limit yourself to $1,400 if you're really so worried about giving everybody a stimulus check? Why didn't you just make it a monthly check? Say $600 a month. You could have just done $600 a month for 12 months. That's $6,000 a year. Why didn't you do it that way? I know it's a lot of money, but then, as I'm sure that they'll point out, is, yeah, but what about the stimulus checks for dependents and everything else? I'm not a lawyer. I'm just an everyday person that just happens to look at the numbers and say, first of all, if you had done it the way I would have done it, you wouldn't have to worry about trying to every single 3 months, 4 months, whatever, try to come up with another stimulus check. You would have just had it done the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they didn't think of that. Now they're starting to think, ooh, maybe we should go for a monthly check. Well, why didn't you think about doing that in the first place? You didn't think about it. Doesn't mean I should have to suffer. You guys didn't think about it. It would have been so damn simple, right? Okay, maybe let's say realistically, let's say it was in the books as a quarterly check. Okay, I think a quarterly check would have been good. All right, everybody gets $1,400 every 3 months as long as the conditions are met with the pandemic. Okay, that's fine. So clearly state what your conditions are, and then so that way no one feels like they're getting screwed. All right? For example, since they want to tie it to unemployment, that's fine. Tie it to unemployment. All right? We want to, when the unemployment rate goes below 10%, the stimulus check will stop after the last one shall be issued. And if for some reason the employment rate goes up again, the stimulus checks should automatically resume. And knowing these congressional guys, they might forget all about that bill in the future, and their grandchildren may go, Mama, why every time our employment goes up 10%, we get a check in the mail? 20 years later. Gee, honey, I don't quite remember why. I think it was because originally about 20 years ago, there was mostly because of the bad virus. They decided to give everybody every 3 months a stimulus check. But Mama, that was 20 years ago. I know, dear, but they just didn't change it.
Could you imagine if that happened?
Yes, I can imagine that happening because our government is that retarded. But hyperinflation, if that happened, absolutely. Yes, I agree. Hyperinflation, big time. But then again, isn't that better than hyperdeflation? That's how nobody talks about that. What would hyperdeflation be? Doom.
Is there even such a thing as hyperdeflation?
That would be like every single dollar all of a sudden is like worth so much money because they didn't put out enough money into the economy. Think about it. So for people who say, like, for example, in hyperdeflation, for example, my apartment, instead of being $700 a month, would be like $70 a month because that $70 would be just as hard to get as it would be to get $700 a month now. Actually, if my rent's $800 now, so 70 versus 80. Okay, let's still stay with the 70. So which means that the value of the American dollar goes down by a factor of 10, that would be a hyper deflation.
Wow. I wonder if that'll ever happen.
I don't know if that'd be any better because all of a sudden, unless you happen to be a person that's be sitting a lot of money on your bank account, all of a sudden you're gonna go, wow, I'm rich. I'm rich and rich and rich and rich and rich. Yeah, you're rich. I had $1,000 in the bank, and now guess what? It's equal to $10,000. Yay! Oh yeah, kiss your interest rate goodbye. Oh, sorry. You're talking about fiat currency. That's how they work. Always gonna be some way that the government is gonna make sure to make you suffer.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, well, you're right. But the prices are going up. Absolutely true. Do you know that there's some places they're charging over $100 for a piece of plywood? For a 4x8 piece of plywood?
Really?
Yeah. Because
I know gas is almost at $3 a gallon again.
Yeah, I know. Right now, the milk in Connecticut is still staying pretty moderate. I know I'm talking about Cumberland Farmers Milk. I know what you're going to say is, there's a convenience store prices. Yeah, well, okay. Well, still, the convenience store does have a buffer, but eventually when the buffer basically strips away and there is no longer a buffer, yeah, they're going to go up too. For example, I know the price of cheese certainly went up. And I know the price of ice cream certainly went up. I used to be able to get Cumberland Farms Toast Cookie Dough ice cream for $4 a gallon or half gallon. Now I have to pay $5.99 for the same half gallon, and it's like because of the same situation with the dairy industry, which was decimated during COVID-19. Gas should have always been over $3 a gallon, but demand fell during the COVID crisis. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I take it as too. Because more people are getting out there.
And now people are starting to get back getting back to lives back to normal. Yeah, which is good for the hotel and the restaurant industry.
Right.
Because eventually people are going to want to start booking rooms again. Which means that where Andrew was working, he would still had a job if the economy would turn around fast enough in the UK and people would come back, go, let's go on holiday. Great idea. But everybody now is like, I don't want to potentially get myself to danger cooties and die from it. No, I got the jab. Great. Lucky you. Not everybody was so lucky to get the jab because there isn't enough jabs around right now. Plus, by the reason why Joe Biden said he wants to try to get some more of the Johnson & Johnson in because that is a single dose. I think that's a reasonable solution. Plus, I believe the single dose can also be transported by normal traditional means for vaccines and doesn't need to be packed in dry ice. Right. The fact that it's not rising right now means the economy is starting back up. Yes. Well, like I said, it's, people are starting to see some turning around. Give me 40 acres. I'll turn this economy around. It's by far the easiest thing I've found. Some guys can turn it downtown right on a dime, but give me 40 acres. I'll turn this economy around.
Oh my goodness.
They're used to give me 40 acres. I'll turn this rig around. Yeah, okay. Well, I went to ABC Pizza with Homeless Mike a couple of weeks ago. They were open for in-house dining. The thing is, there wasn't too many people in there. There were a lot of takeout orders, but there wasn't a lot of people eating in the restaurant.
Right.
So if you were in a situation where they're saying, well, you only can have limited seating, ABC Pizza does not have a ton of people sitting in the in-house eating anyway. Usually it's mostly just takeout. But they do have tables, and you can sit there and eat your pizza, which is nice. 40 acres in a meal. Yep. So the thing is, I had so many plans and the money, and I keep having to change my plans because of obvious reasons. For example, like I said, you want to get the computer? Fine. How much do you want to spend? Don't forget the mattress. That's important too. So you figure, okay. He's looking up and sleepy. Oh, I say I need to spend about $250 for a mattress. Okay, I'm not talking about for super expensive. I'm talking about just to make sure to leave room for the delivery guy and all that. So let's just say you got 1,400. So you figure, say, put 400 away for the mattress, and then that leaves you with 1,000. There you go. Okay. So what computer you want to get? Well, I can get a computer for $799. Oh, wait a minute! That only leaves me with 200 extra. That's no good. What if shit happens and I need the extra money? I'm like, oh boy, I can't wait here. Okay, but let me show you the computer I do have on my watch list. Just, you like to see what kind of computers I'm thinking about? I'll show you something. Okay, guys, I'm not one of those vain people. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Really, I might kid around with you. I'm a funny person because I do like having fun with you, but I'm also a very serious person too. So first of all, let's go take a look at my eBay page. Okay, www.ebay.com. Okay, now if you look at all the prices, now you're probably saying, "Why are you looking at brackets for your bed?" Because unfortunately, my bed is missing one. My steel frame. They're not that expensive. They're just annoying. I gotta buy one. All right, so now I'm gonna go to my eBay. I'm gonna go to my about the most expensive of the technologies. There's no reason to look for economy. Might as well just look the opposite. Most expensive to least expensive. Oh Lord. Okay. All right, are we on the watch list? Yeah. Watch list. Okay, so we're gonna go for not ending since we're gonna go for the highest to lowest first. Okay. Priced highest first, because we know that the laptops are gonna be all but below that one anyway. So let's go from the most expensive thing on my dream list to the cheapest. This is the most expensive. Apple Mac Pro i7 17-inch upgrade. Okay, free shipping, $976. Forget it, too much. MacBook Pro 13-inch Retina, 2015-2016 Core i5, 2.9 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of RAM, $799. Gee, I can buy a brand new Mac Mini for that price.
You're specifically going for an Apple Mac?
Yes, because everything in my shop is Mac. I want to stick with I want to stick with the same platform on all my machines, so I don't have to deal with trying to anyway. So let's go to here. 13-inch MacBook. This is another one, 658. 80, that's a little bit better. Mac Pro RX Nitro video card. I was gonna get one of those for $49.99, a little bit much. Apple Silver MacBook, 13-inch, 500 gig hard drive, $449. 13-inch, $399.97, 1 terabyte hard drive, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and OS High Sierra. This is the laptop I was gonna buy, or similar to this one. It's a white MacBook. Okay, I'll show you a picture of it close up here. And you can see it's white. Which makes sense. I like it. It's a 2010. It's a 2010. Yes. But then again, it's not bad either. Well, I still think it's a possibility for you to get it. So I think that one I might consider getting that one. Because like you said, you go for too expensive and you're going to be screaming. And you want to have money left over for personal needs or other projects.
Right.
I don't want to blow it all. You know. I mean, the Virgo and me. I mean, the Aquarius says, "Blow it out! I don't give a shit." But it meets my needs. Sounds like so. Then it's like we fight all the time over money. Like she's always going out there and saying, I gotta make sure to find the best bargain, the best deal that meets my obligations." And yet she'll drive me nuts about it, about money, about budgets. You know, that's what I do anyway. Then originally I had plans to buy another video card. This one for $319. Oh, these items. So I was gonna originally get a brand new vacuum tube amplifier. Then we got this video card here, $79.70 for $285. See, now if I buy the MacBook I was talking about, I could buy that and buy the video card and matches. Here's another MacBook for $269. Same specs. 2010, 13-inch Intel Core 2 Duo, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive for 15 bucks. 15 bucks. And then we have this voice over IP stuff. There's another one here for $249 in free shipping. Apple MacBook, Unibody, 2.4 gigahertz, 500 gigabyte, 8 gigabytes. OS 10. High Sierra. Okay. Well, the High Sierra isn't such a big deal. Number card. I'm all set for the Bluetooth. Or El Capitan. That's no big deal. But I think you get the idea, though. This is the reason why I get sometimes frustrated. And it can go on backwards, further and further back. We can go things that nothing. This thing MPEG 4H ABC decoder thingy. This lets me stream with my PAL camera or analog camera straight out to YouTube along with the HDMI video. So I don't even have to use a computer to do that. Because that theoretically is a computer and it's alright. But what about upgrading my existing Mac processor that's on my machine with a tray? Oh, here we go. There's a third generation 32 gigabyte Wi-Fi 4G. Let's see. Oh, that's a laptop. All right, that still could spend a lot of money, go nuts, buying stuff. Now, or the iPad 5 or whatever they call the newer version now, is really not a bad way to go. I don't know. I just I'm always trying to find the best bargains. You're a cheap ass. That's why. You don't like to spend money you don't have to spend. Yeah, but you know what else I'd like to do is get some new dishes, a new place setting, some new cookware. Yeah, I know, guys. It gets buffering when I show a video page. Sorry about that. So just be patient. Let the computer calm down from the jingle jangle, and you'll be fine. You stay there? Well, Blazing Leo took off. Okay, it was good doing. Okay, so it's all set now. I got a call. I had to get a jump off the panel. Okay. So, yeah, sorry. That's another reason why I mentioned the money. I gotta be honest, guys. This is a reason I might consider going with the T-Mobile internet anyway. That's $50 a month, but was gonna wait until we find out what's going on with the other stimulus check from the Social Security increase at $200 a month, because of obvious reasons that then I would have the $50 extra each month pay up to T-Mobile for the home internet, and we can still keep the home internet we have here from Frontier, so that the home internet for Frontier could still be used for the voice over IP, and then we could just use the T-Mobile internet just for live streaming. That way, that works for me. Not yet, Charlotte. Probably will be in on about 2 days. I got a thing we'll probably be seeing it probably on the 17th. A lot of people are going to be seeing their check on the 17th. Yeah, you think you said you got yours early when you weren't even expecting to have a check. Don't you hate when you have a loose connection to your microphone? And starting your spring makes you go right up. Yep, you'll probably get yours on the 17th or around the same time as me. Maybe a little later. Because your last name is a few letters higher than mine. No, Rusty hasn't been here. He was actually in the bedroom sleeping. Well, likely you'll see him tonight, though. Boy, that's picky. Of course, my spring and my mic stand doesn't have a fretboard. So, I have to remember that you're going to be an hour earlier than from us, right? And then, of course, when we go into our winter time, then you're going to realize that we're going to be an hour later than you until you go into your winter time. Again, stupid reason daylight savings time makes no sense to any country. Well, it's already holy crap, it's 1:25. Oh, wow. I hope we did good today. I mean, I enjoyed having you guys on the show, of course, and Blazing Leo and Monica wasn't on the actual chat. Bubba was on the chat earlier. Sprinkle Cat was on the chat earlier. We got the live stream coming up at 7:00 tonight. And so once the stimulation comes, maybe what I'll do is we'll figure out what we're going to do with the money. And got to see what they're already working on the fourth bill, the fourth infrastructure, what they call the Build Back Better plan. The BBBP. So we'll have to see what happens with that. All right, guys. For the time being, just want to thank you all for being on the show. We'll see you tomorrow morning at the usual time. For the UK audience, you will need to adjust your timing accordingly. Arizona, you know what to do. You need to adjust your time accordingly. Remember, I live in a state that does have daylight savings time, aka summertime and wintertime. So if you are here and you need to remember that we went ahead an hour. So in Arizona, what was originally was at 10 a.m. My time was about 7 p.m. 7 a.m. your time was now 8 a.m. your time. Where's the 6? I don't know. I always get mixed up. Exactly. So, guys, thank you very much for being on the show. And I'll see everybody tonight at 7:00. Okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.